Leak describe in detail the types of aircraft and weapons the Israeli military is possibly preparing to use in the strike against Iran.
That's Fox's Matt Finn in Tel Aviv. Israel launched more airstrikes today, taking out banks in Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah's financing. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It was a fiery scene. Radar is clear. It's 44 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. A crash this morning on the northeast side and a person killed. Indy firefighters had to be called because the cops who responded say the car was engulfed in flames in the intersection of Binford and 52nd Street. It's not clear yet what led to the crash. A fatal shooting in southeastern Indiana over the weekend. Donnie Burgess reports it was the police who pulled the trigger.
A man on the 4th floor of the Hollywood Casino Hotel in Lawrenceburg was threatening someone with a knife, say Indiana State Police. This all went down around 1 o'clock Saturday morning. Lawrenceburg police showed up and heard gunshots. They found the suspect on the 4th floor, and they say the man started shooting first, so they shot back and killed him. All officers are now on administrative leave, and Indiana State Police have the investigation. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
In Fort Wayne, 11 people shot at a party involving mainly high school-aged kids. That's according to police, who say that one of the 11 shot was killed. They don't know yet who fired the fatal shots. The Delphi murders trial continues today in Carroll County. The prosecution set to call even more witnesses, including Jacob Johns, who is said to have found the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German back in 2017. Jim Banks has represented Northeastern Indiana for 8 years in the U.S. House. He hopes to have a better and bigger platform to shore up government spending if elected to the Senate.
We spend more on paying interest on the national debt today than we do on the entire budget of the Pentagon.
On All Indiana Politics, he also says he supports mass deportations of people who are in the country illegally. Election Day, November 5th. It wasn't pretty, but it's a win nonetheless.
16 points. Obviously, we want to be better. It starts with myself offensively, but defense stepped up, and it's good momentum, obviously, heading into Houston next week.
Colts head coach Shane Steichen, after their 16-10 come-from-behind win over the Miami Dolphins. Former tight end Dallas Clark inducted into the Ring of Honor.
Doesn't get much better. What it represents and what it means, and it's just special.
Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Eastbound 70 crash clear at Meridian, Illinois, still stopped from Holt Road to West Street. That front of the line clearing out nicely. Southbound 65 closed to West Street will be until, well, for the rest of the month. Traffic sponsored by Innovative Foundation Service, your trusted local experts. Your local experts for basement waterproofing, foundation, and crawl space repair. Book your free inspection at IndianaFoundation.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Lots of sunshine going through the day. Mild temperatures, too. A high of 79. Mostly clear, quiet, cool, but comfortable overnight. A low of 47. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
A chilly 44 and sunny on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
It was arguably the greatest campaign event in the history of ever. 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Our old pal, Jerry Lopez. Find him on Twitter at Indy Spanglish. Joins us. Jerry, I'm going to say it, and I mean it with every fiber of my being. That may have been the greatest, and we'll see what happens on Election Day, but it could end up being the most effective campaign event in the history of ever. Donald Trump went to McDonald's.
Listen, nothing is more American than Donald Trump and the Golden Arches. So that's, whoever's running his campaign the last 30 to 60 days deserves an award because he's done a complete U-turn from being the heel to now, like, he's done great interviews, and now this last campaign stop, people are actually starting to like him.
And I don't know if it is indeed what has changed, but I always thought the most effective campaign Trump ran of all the campaigns he's run was that primary campaign he ran in 2016, the very first opening salvo, and the architect of that was a guy named Corey Lewandowski. And Corey Lewandowski was brought back recently. Now, I don't think he's the head shot caller, but there is something that says it coincides with Trump got back to being more like 2015, 2016 than he has been since 2015, 2016, and Corey Lewandowski came back. So if you missed it, and you know, what's fascinating to me about this is now the left and the mainstream national media is crying, it was a staged event. It was staged. He wasn't really working it. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. He was at a McDonald's. There were people who work at a McDonald's, and he was doing McDonald's stuff, and people were going through the drive-thru, and it does not matter if they were campaign supporters or they were pre-scripted or whatever. It was brilliant, Jerry Lopez.
Could you imagine you pull up the McDonald's like, hello, would you be using the McDonald's app and it's Donald Trump on the other side?
Now, of course, it was going to be staged. They were going to let some.
Well, isn't everything staged in campaigning? Every single thing is staged.
It doesn't matter. Okay, and here's why it doesn't matter. So before we get into some of the audio of him actually doing the stuff at McDonald's, here's Trump before he gets on the plane to go to the McDonald's, and he talks about why he's doing it, and this is why it matters.
I'm going for a job right now at McDonald's. I really wanted to do this all my life, and now I'm going to do it because she didn't do it. Thank you very much. I'll see you at McDonald's.
Okay, so this was first. I said this yesterday, and I got backed up by our old pal, Not Kenny Rogers on Twitter, who's now part of this radio station, which I love. Not Kenny Rogers is the account on Twitter. And the real life guy is now a fill-in guy with Hammer and Nigel and is on the station quite a bit. It's a great follow. And he gave me the A+ thumbs up, and he was a writer for Letterman for years. So if he says I'm spot on humor and entertainment, I'm going to go with it. So I said yesterday, Donald Trump would have been the greatest pro wrestling character of all time if he had chosen to pursue it. Now, he dabbled in it a little bit. He hosted the WrestleManias. He helped main event one with Vince McMahon. But if he had decided to be a pro wrestler for a career, he would have been the greatest pro wrestler of all time because his ability, sometimes he's a heel, sometimes he's a bad guy, sometimes he's a good guy. He weaves in between. But no matter what he is or what he's doing, he owns the audience. He owns the topic. He owns the debate. He owns the discussion. It's why, again, when he said, well, they're eating the cats and dogs, and even people on this radio station, regular broadcasters here lost their mind and said, I can't believe he did that. That was the... I said, no. He's now going to make the conversation about immigration. And it doesn't matter on what terms the conversation is about immigration. He's going to win, Spanglish. The conversation, if it's about immigration, and going forward, the conversation has been about immigration. He did this, first of all, because it was great publicity, but he also did it, Spanglish, because Kamala Harris claims she worked at McDonald's and has not been able to offer a shred of proof that she ever worked at a McDonald's.
There's a lot of things that Kamala Harris has said she has done that she hasn't been able to prove, much like Tim Walz, right? So as much as they go after Trump, at least the proof is in the pudding. Whether you like him or not, I believe the things that he says, and I believe that he believes the things that he says. With Kamala, I don't even know if she can get a straight thought from her brain to her mouth. It just somewhere in there she fumbles it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have two people in Kamala Harris and Tim Walz who lie a lot. They lie about easily disprovable things. And the McDonald's thing is, by the way, did you see McDonald's put out a statement? And in the statement, this was...
we do not support Donald Trump. This is not a...
Well, no, it was great. I mean, it was like they were saying, hey, we would give... They basically said, we had a franchisee come to us. McDonald's serves everybody. We would totally let Kamala Harris and Tim Walz do the same thing. But in the statement, they basically said something like,
Now, we don't keep records to prove every single person who's worked at McDonald's.
So did he fill out a W-2?
Yeah, they were basically saying, like, we don't have any proof that this woman ever worked here, and this is our nice way of addressing this because we know this is why Trump did the thing. But the conversation is about how this woman, Kamala Harris, and Tim Walz don't tell the truth about easily disprovable stuff. Like,
Did you see Walz trying to load the shotgun? Now Kamala's come out and said, we don't want your guns. Tim and I both have guns.
Right.
We both hunt. And then there's a video of him hunting, and he can't load the shotgun.
So, did you work in high school? You're a hard worker.
Yeah, first job was McDonald's, actually.
All right. Do you remember? Can you remember at least one person that you worked at McDonald's in high school?
So the only reason I applied for this job is because the manager was pretty, and her name was Mandy.
Mandy the manager.
Mandy the manager. If she's listening, hi. And
He's made
in
a lot of
Indianapolis.
himself.
Yeah, it was actually the 86 and 71st and by Pike High School. At
Okay.
McDonald's.
So here's what you've just done.
I remember it.
And you're a little older than me, so this was 25 plus years ago. You have now said, my manager was Hot Mandy. Okay, that's a person, right? And you've said, here's where the location was. All right, now I'm going to take a stab at it. I worked at Arby's in high school. Spanglish, I think off the top of my head, I can come up with 10 people I worked with at least 24 years ago at the Brownsburg Arby's off the interstate. Are we ready?
We're ready.
I'm just going to do first names. So Bill, the manager. Jordan, the other manager. Amanda, Dwayne, the other Dwayne. Pam, Hi, Shane. The one guy who worked nights in the back who was out on parole. I got to do one more here. And the other guy, there was another guy who was out on parole.
That was less than a minute. There's 10
10
people.
guys, yeah. There were two guys who were released people.
Bart was the franchise owner.
Yeah, right? I mean, Jerry was another manager. Kirk was a corporate manager. I mean, like, you would be able to say...
I just got a message on Facebook from Mandy that says, hi, Jerry. How funny is that? How funny is that?
The point of all this, though, is you would be able to tell where you worked, who you worked with. You would be able to name a person. I mean, something that would prove I worked at. Boy, this show is powerful, isn't it?
Hey, that was quick.
Yeah. All right. So here, she didn't work in the McDonald's.
No,
she lied.
Yeah.
She lies about everything. All right. So let's do a little audio of this. Here's Trump working the drive-thru. This is great.
I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Mr.
Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much
You
for
are not
everything.
ordinary. I can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you
you
very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, one more. So one of the things Trump does that's great is he creates a bravado for his wealth, but he does it in a way that is endearing beyond belief. Like, he wants you to know how rich he really is. But he is a master at, especially when he goes and does these live events, in a way where you're like, wow, what a super nice guy. And he's clearly telling me how rich he is. And he's clearly bragging right to my face. And if it were your neighbor who did this, you would hate them. But Trump does it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he for some reason, he's become, like, he's likable. Everybody liked him before they went on before he ran for president. He was in Home Alone. Like, we liked Donald Trump.
All right, so here he is. He's still in the drive-thru. And, of course, it's a campaign event, right? They're paying for the stuff. He's paying for the stuff, but he's working this drive-thru. This is what I'm talking about with the pro wrestling stuff. He's talking to this kid who's working the drive-thru with him, and he's like, "Can I give this stuff away? I'm allowed to pay for this, right? I can do this, right? I can open my gigantic wallet."
That kid's like only making $7 an hour.
And the kid's looking at him like, "Dude, do whatever you want. You're Donald Trump. Listen to this. This is great."
Well, that's a good-looking group. Hello, everybody. This is not a normal situation, is it, huh? How are you? What a good-looking family. How did you produce those good-looking kids? Oh, they look like the wife. They look like the wife. How are you? Nice to see you. That's great. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. And there'll be no charge. Trump is paying for it. Is that okay? Oh, you're going to some extra stuff. Oh, okay, this is all on Trump.
Hold on, Trump.
I'm allowed to do that, right?
Let's check and make sure it's everything you said it would be.
It's better be. It's going to be the best you ever. I made it myself.
You're the man. Make America
That's
great.
it, order. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, how does he lose Pennsylvania now? How does he lose the election?
He doesn't. He just listen. The one thing I said is the only person that can ruin this is Donald Trump, and he's changed it now where people actually like him.
Yeah.
The more he's out there now.
Whoever came up with this should be given a cabinet level position because it's brilliant. All right, one more, and then we'll move on. He was working the fryer for a while, and Trump's, and I found this out when I interviewed Trump. You see it in person. He's such a great bullcrapper that he'll just start freewheeling stuff off the top of his head. And in his own mind, when he gets done, he probably goes, that was amazing that I came up with that. But he says it in a way in instantaneous terms. Like I got him talking about pro wrestling, and he starts going on about what a great attribute he was to pro wrestling.
He shaved Vince McMahon's head. I remember.
And there's no way he knew sitting down with me, hey, this guy's going to ask me about pro wrestling. But he gets done, and he'll look at you like, that was amazing, wasn't
I did great, didn't I?
He doesn't even have to say it. He just looks at you like oh, that was incredible that I just came up with it. So here he is working the fryer, and listen to the self-promotion and the self-adulation he's giving himself for getting the French fries right.
Tight. We got the salt on it. Never touches the human hand.
Very good.
Nice and full.
Thank you.
Good.
The play-by-play.
Imagine somebody standing over his shoulder and he's like walking him through like he's in training.
Never the phrase "the human hand." It tickles me to no end. All right, Jerry Lopez, our pal Indy Spanglish, is in for Casey today. Kev is here. When we come back, I'm going to go off the rails, Jerry, because the roof once again didn't work at Lucas Oil Stadium. What a great use of taxpayer money.
Does it even work?
We'll talk about it next. Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Airstrikes in Beirut, Lebanon overnight.
93 WIBC.
Multiple buildings in ruins.
Hear the news.
Burning anything outside this week is not a good idea.
Elevated fire risk.
Wind gusts could get up to 25 miles an hour.
Another news update is minutes away.
Indiana will have a new senator come 2025.
Jim Banks, if elected to the Senate.
Indiana Hoosier football team 7-0. They moved up to 13th, 56-7 victory over Nebraska.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Mortgage rates are down and creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. Maximize your home sale now with the market expert who delivers maximum money in less time, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Ray in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietl. I needed to move in a hurry, so I was out the door into a new home, but left with the big problem of selling my old home. With 2 mortgage payments fast approaching, I heard Mark Dietl was the answer, and I heard right. I was ecstatic when Mark sold my home for the price I needed in 2 days on the market. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, DIETL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare anywhere and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
High taxes can erode returns quickly. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? Let Creative Planning help with a free year-end tax review. This personalized review will help you reduce your tax burden before the year ends. It's the perfect time to take proactive steps to optimize your tax situation. Go to creativeplanning.com/radio and request your free tax review. Act now. This offer is only good till Monday, October 28th at midnight. That's creativeplanning.com/radio.
Indiana has nearly 2,800 pig farmers and ranks 5th in the country in pork production. Hoosier pig farmers are raising some of the finest pork in the nation. October is National Pork Month. From family farms to innovative operations, Indiana's pig farmers are committed to quality and sustainability, all while providing your family pork that's packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals that are good for you. So the next time you're at the grocery store or your favorite restaurant, make pork your choice and celebrate Indiana pig farmers.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing. Those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Okay, we got to talk about the roof being closed yesterday at Lucas Oil Stadium and what a colossal waste of taxpayer money that thing is. But first, I legit thought you were bullcrapping.
No, man.
I thought that you were doing a little bit for the show, and I thought I'm gonna let. It's kind of obvious, but I'm gonna let you roll with it. So Spanglish is in for Casey today. Kev is here, and last segment we were talking about being able to name people you worked with in high school. Like if you worked at a fast food place, you should be able to name at least like one person. You should be able to give a description that is vague enough that someone could pick them out of like down the street. Hey.
I was like 16.
Okay, so I said Lopez. Like I named 10 people that I worked with off the top of my head at Arby's 20 years ago. Like that's what you should be able to do, but at least one person. And I said, Spanglish, can you name one person that you worked with at the McDonald's? And you gave the location by Pike High School. And you said, yeah, Mandy, the hot manager. That's why I applied for the job. And then you claimed, and again, I totally thought you were just doing a thing for the show, and I said, that's funny, we'll roll with it. You said, hey, I just got a message from Mandy on Facebook.
Hi, Jerry, ha, 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 ha.
And I thought, I said, well, after the segment, I'm going to go tell you that was a good little thing to chime in there. You weren't kidding.
No, I actually did, yeah. So she was driving to work and heard me,
There's no way somebody informed her fast enough of that.
We're
she
not
was able
Facebook friends.
And you're not Facebook friends with you, right?
No.
So... I mean, it's crazy because we're told nobody listens to the show, but literally some random woman who it was 25 years ago or more that you worked with in high school was listening to the point where she contacted you immediately, and that is nothing else that happens on the show today will beat that. That was incredible. That was worth. Mandy, thanks for listening and messaging Jerry. And did you guys? I mean, I don't need the.
We were good friends. Yeah, she was fun. We had. Yeah.
But I mean, you took a job there.
That's why I applied for the job.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I
got the job.
At some point, did you tell her, like, hey, I'm in love with you? Or
I mean, not love, but yeah.
I mean,
we hung out, man.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I think I've taken it as far as I can on the family program. All right, so the roof was closed yesterday at Lucas Oil Stadium. I don't know what the kickoff temperature was, 70s. It was a perfect day. Like, if you were to look up perfect fall day in the dictionary, it was yesterday. And I'm going to read you the tweet from Jim Irsay. This came out at 11:16. Roof closed due to operational issues. Very disappointing. Apologies to our fans. So that is the second time this year there's been an absolute perfect day in the city of Indianapolis. And for the second time this year, due to some sort of mechanical failure, the retractable roof, which taxpayers paid, you don't know the exact amount. It's estimated somewhere probably between $70 and $100 million for the retractable, not the roof, to make it a like on top of.
Right.
On top of what we paid for Lucas Oil Stadium. This glitz and glamour.
The customization.
Vanity project. Yeah. Our tax money, because all of this is paid with our tax money. It's not like Jim Irsay, was throwing his trust fund money at the thing. We paid for this, and they can't get it to work. I am so sick of hearing about this retractable roof not working, and I'm so sick of the lackadaisical attitude about it, which he being Jim Irsay, because he didn't pay for it.
Right.
Can you imagine if he paid for it? I don't think he'd be all willy-nilly. Apologies to our fans. This is another example. Because people say, oh, well, if there's any sort of, property tax reform, they'll have to take policemen off the streets. We spent $100 million on a retractable roof that doesn't work. We're spending $36 million, the people of Noblesville are, for a arena for the Pacers G League team, the Mad Ants. $12 million on tennis courts in Westfield. They're putting bison statues on the street in Carmel, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And yet we're led to believe that if you are helped in any shape, form, or fashion by Mike Braun's plan to reform property taxes, they'll have to take police off the street. But we had $100 million to give to this guy for a retractable roof that doesn't work.
Yeah, we don't even know if it works or not. It's never opened. And in Indianapolis, you only have so many months that you want to have that thing, because it's going to start getting cold. But this is why the Colts, when they go to Green Bay and win, or how many times do we go to New England and just get trounced because we're not playing under the closed roof, and Peyton couldn't play in the cold weather because of this.
All right, and so there's always these people going, well, what would you do, Rob? Would you have just had the Colts walk out the door? No. First of all, I don't think they would have walked out the door. But second of all, there is a difference between doing something for a viable economic development project that actually helps reduce the burden of taxpayers versus, first of all, Lucas Oil Stadium. You can't point to anything that shows it's been a revenue generator. We lost money on the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Taxpayers lost money when we hosted the Super Bowl, Spanglish.
And you're supposed to host to bring more people in, but this city already has all the conventions. So you don't need to that's why we got that. We got the stadium for the Super Bowl to lose money.
And so when you say economic development, there's not a single solitary economic development project, event, nothing has come here because we had a retractable roof. We just took $100 million from poor and middle class people and we gave it to a trust fund kid because that's what he wanted. This is why I get so upset about Lucas Oil Stadium. This is why I get so upset about the roof. People who are barely scraping by are paying for this guy who's a billionaire who he inherited it, by the way. It's not like he worked for it. Right. It was given to him to have a retractable roof, and it doesn't work, and all we get for our $100 million investment is very disappointing.
How many times do you see this around the country where cities are catering to corporate America? Yep. Cities are catering to the billionaire. Please bring your business here. We're going to give you all the tax cuts in the world, but we don't have more money for teachers or policemen.
All right. In addition to perhaps the greatest campaign event of all time, Trump may have put out the greatest tweet ever over the weekend, and we will read it for you with Whitney in the background when we come back. Kurt Darling's up next with the news. Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Christine said, I highly recommend this company. They did my garage floor, and I absolutely love it. I'm planning on having them do my patio in the spring. Don't wait. Call them today, 317-751-9070. That's the number for Galaxy Concrete Coating. They can turn any concrete surface into a much better space. Find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or call them 317-751-9070.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A Big Mac with a bigly side of fries. Radar is clear. It's sunny and 47 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. It's back to business as usual at a Pennsylvania McDonald's after unsuspecting drive-through customers got their fries from former President Trump's sundae.
Now I have worked this week. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala. Okay, she never worked here.
Pennsylvania is a pivotal swing state this election. Trump spent the day at the McDonald's talking with potential voters in Lancaster. He also visited a barbershop and conducted a town hall. More military aid is heading to Ukraine from the U.S. Fox's Jared Halpern.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin met with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky during a visit to the capital city, announcing a $400 million military package. The drawdown includes air defense systems, Javelin anti-tank systems, mortar rounds, wire-guided missiles, and communications equipment. Austin told Zelensky the U.S. remains committed to supporting Ukraine, but questions about sustained U.S. spending in Ukraine's war with Russia have been raised should former President Trump win re-election in November. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
For the first time in more than 4 decades, it'll be the Los Angeles Dodgers against the New York Yankees in the World Series. Game 1 is this Friday at Dodger Stadium in L.A. Your opening bell report on 93 WYBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Some big declines to start the week. The Dow was off 56 to 43,218. The NASDAQ down 22 to 18,467. And the S&P 500 is down 5 to 5,858. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
We believe strongly in the power of education.
We also understand the impact it has on the success of communities across Indiana.
We see this through our work at the IHSAA, teaching 160,000 student-athletes through education-based athletics.
And we see this through our work at Ivy Tech, where over 90,000 Indiana high school students are earning dual college credit while finishing high school.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig.
And I'm Dr. Sue Ellsperman, President of Ivy Tech Community College.
We're proud to partner with organizations like Ivy Tech that prioritize education and community.
At Ivy Tech, we have more than 70 programs,
helping Indiana high school students get a head start on college and their careers.
We offer the state's most affordable tuition and have saved families over $100 million this year.
Providing learning opportunities for Hoosier students is how we build a strong Indiana. This is the power of community.
This is the impact of education.
This is your IHSAA.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-735-0911. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-735-0911. 800-735-0911. That's 800-735-0911.
Plumbing problems stink. The LD Smith Crew can handle anything. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
So Trump put out what might have been the greatest tweet ever over the weekend, and we'll read it in a second, but we have to continue to update our audience. By the way, Casey's out today. Spanglish, Jerry Lopez, is in for Casey, and we're having this now the thread of the show, and I did not think this would be the thread of the show, but the thread of the show is Mandy, the hot manager that you work with at the McDonald's near Pike High School, who, if you are just tuning in the opening segment, we're talking about the ridiculous thing that Kamala Harris claims has not produced anybody she worked with, where she worked at, when she worked. There's nothing, which just like almost everything else with her, you believe it to be total bullcrap. And so we were naming off people. Like, I worked at Arby's in high school. Spanglish worked at the McDonald's by Pike High School. And I say you should be able to name vaguely. Remember Larry? Or, I said, I can name you 8 people by name, and then the 2 guys are out on parole. I don't remember their names. I didn't hang out with them a whole bunch, but I could pick them out of a lineup. And I said, do you remember somebody you worked with? And you said, yeah, there was Mandy, the hot manager at McDonald's. And I thought you were, then you said, during the show, we're going back and forth. She messages you. You have not seen this woman or heard from her in years. You're not
Facebook friends.
No, nothing. No. And I thought it was a bit of for the show. And then during the break, you showed me the message. It was definitely legit. And now you guys have been messaging back and forth. And it turns out she's like a super fan of our show.
Yeah, she says she works from home and listens every day.
That's great. Yeah. We love that. Yeah. So we took a picture and sent it to her.
Yep. Good morning.
Yeah. Hi, Mandy. Thanks for listening. All right. So Trump, people feel differently about how Trump handles his social media. And I am of the belief, whether it was talking about how he hates Taylor Swift or whatever, that we've waved bye-bye to accepting any sort of professionalism from our politicians anymore. The societal norms went out the window. In large part, they went out the window, started going out the window before Trump, but Trump just took it and, ran with it. So I don't get as uptight about Trump's tweets as other people do, because I think it's baked in. I don't think people read it and go, okay, that's the last straw. What I do think it does is creates totally free earned media. And one thing Donald Trump does very well is he creates he stretches the boundaries of what are deemed ridiculous to the point where he can never cross it. He can never cross it, Jerry.
Yeah,
no matter what he does, you're just like, yeah, it's Trump.
Well, he's said, do you remember when he did the convulsing thing at
right?
The bar has been so low, and then it's been overplayed by the left media,
right?
Where it's like now nothing surprises us that he says, which is why this last campaign stop is a complete babyface move, because we've been told this guy's unlikable, but for the last 2.5 weeks, he's been like our neighbor that we like to hang out with.
There's a saying in pro wrestling. The heels are bad guys, baby faces are good guys. The hotter the heel, the hotter the baby face. The more people want to hate you when you flip, the more they want to cheer for you. Vice versa, right?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right, exactly. So, or a Hulk Hogan becoming a bad guy in the 90s, whatever. And Trump is the master of this. Trump knows how to play the string, and he's in a different world.
But he's the people's bad guy. That's what we like.
He is, right? He is. And society is a gray society anyway. It's not, for the most part, black and white anymore.
Or Latino.
And well, thank you very much. All right, and so I don't get as uptight. I actually think the tweets don't do anything but help him, because it just puts him front and center in the news.
I didn't like the Swift one at all. That one, I'm like, why are we doing this?
But it worked, right? Clearly. The polling showed that people were more apt to vote against who Taylor Swift supports.
But it was one of those things where it's like, why did you have to do that, dude?
Because he dominated the news cycle.
Yeah.
And he was in with the majority of people, and nobody is actually like, well, I was on the fence, but because Trump hates Taylor Swift, I'm against Trump now. So he put this tweet out this weekend. So for those of you who are new to the program, when we read Trump tweets, I read them as I'm picturing the thought being formulated in Trump's head as he is pecking it out with his thumbs on his cellular telephone. We play Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. Jerry, did you know I once interviewed the president?
I did hear that. You were the only person, right?
And then since since that kind of put me on the map and helped me end up here as a tribute to that, we always play Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You when we read the tweet. So this one is near the top of the list. Presented without further ado, Maestro. Mark Cuban is a loser. Wouldn't take his phone calls anymore while at the White House. And he went rogue. A weak and pathetic bully. He's got nothing going. Really low club head speed. A total non-athlete. Exclamation point! Really low club head speed. A total non-athlete.
Did you see the letter that he wrote to Mark Cuban when the show got canceled? Like, that's when I think that Mark Cuban turned into the villain. He's like, I'm sorry that because your ratings, your show is canceled. If I was on there, I would have done. And I think that's when Mark Cuban turned in. That's when his villain origin story started.
One of the things that entertainers, great entertainers, whether they're radio guys or they're reality TV guys or whatever, one of the really great things that all entertainers do is when faced with adversity, they make other people play on their terms. And they will drive you insane because there's a good chance you don't know what you're doing the way they know what they're doing. Why is it that every time a politician comes in here, they get depantsed by us? Because they're not in their little butt kisser universe anymore. Like it's the Fred Krueger phrase, you're in my world now. Yep. And when somebody talks back, they fall apart. And how many of these people over the years have thought they're going to come in here and we're going to show Rob Kendall how it's going to be? How does it end for any of them? Right. It ends horribly because they're not in their world anymore. And Donald Trump is the best person I've ever seen at this, at getting people outside of their comfort zone where they play on their terms. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit. Why did Dodge and Don Rainwater run scared? Why wouldn't he come on here anymore? Why did he run to Ethan in the afternoon show? Because he knew what would happen, because he knows the crap he's pulled, and he knew what happened if he came on here and got legitimate questions about it. At least he was, I guess, in some level smart enough to do that. But the point is, whether it's Mark Cuban or any of these other people that Trump has broken over the years, it's because they're not smart enough to realize they're playing on his terms and you're going to lose.
Yeah, and he has no problem going on offense, which is what I love. And I think a lot of these people that are in power are usually the ones that are on offense. So like you said, so a politician comes in here, usually he's the most important person in the room. But now here I am standing next to this guy, Rob Kendall, who's going to ask me anything that he wants. Right. It's not cookie cutter. It's not softball. I'm asking you legitimate questions. And I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Right. Okay, so the other thing that amuses me to no end, and I don't know why, because I wasn't like a super fan of this guy when he was playing, but the fact that Antonio Brown...
Dude, he is a national treasure.
The fact that Antonio Brown, of all people, has become a key surrogate for Trump in the state. Mm-hmm. So again, I know most of you know,
and he's huge in Pennsylvania.
Well, I know most of you know who this guy is, but just if you don't. So Antonio Brown was a high-profile wide receiver. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers for years. Then he went to the Patriots. He became buddies with Tom Brady. And then he goes to the Patriots with Brady. He then goes to Tampa with Brady.
No, he got traded somewhere and refused to show up.
Yeah, so Antonio Brown, by all accounts, was a pretty decent dude. He suffered a serious head injury on the football field. He then became, and many people believe he has CTE, and when he, someday if his brain gets studied, it will be something for science, that he totally morphed into this. And people don't think it was an act. They think legitimately he had some serious brain damage, and he just became a lunatic.
Quit mid-game.
Yeah, and his last game, he disrobed himself and ran off the field.
During the game.
But he has since, and he had some issues and off-the-field issues, but since, he has kind of at least publicly, cleaned his act up, and he has become a very passionate Donald Trump supporter. And they actually put him at a Trump rally. They gave him a live microphone, and they let him speak at this rally in Pittsburgh, or outside Pittsburgh, on Saturday. And then they went to the Steelers game together last night on Sunday Night Football. And I thought Antonio Brown actually did a pretty good job. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
But I'm here today representing a man who carries those same values. Donald Trump. He knows success and he knows what it takes to make America great again. And to be real, we all have experienced highs and lows, especially me in my career as a Super Bowl champion and life as a father to 7 amazing children. I have experienced low points and have to overcome adversity. Just how I watched Donald Trump overcome adversity. No matter what the media threw at him, no matter what people say to try to bring him down, he continued to push forward and keep getting back up. And he's always ready for the fight. Fight.
Yeah.
Fight.
That's not bad.
I mean, look, people are like, I can't believe you would give him a live microphone. He's liable to. He came off as very professional. I mean, look, the guy's crazy, but this is the world we're living in, where Le'Veon Bell is another famous Steelers running back, and Antonio Brown, they're registering people to vote. It's like if you went to the Steelers game, they were out tailgating. If you registered to vote there, you get a photo with them. This is crazy what 2024 is becoming, Spangler.
Yeah, I mean, we now have black athletes coming out and openly supporting Donald Trump. And this is the left's worst nightmare, is that now you're starting to get these communities that are fracturing and people are actually voting on their beliefs.
All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, Spanglish has posed an interesting question. It's Halloween season. And Spanglish has posed an interesting question about etiquette and decorum during Halloween season. Kev, we'll have you get in on this as well because you are the single guy in the group. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
The victims of Hurricane Helene need our help. Go to disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. That's disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. From the Salvation Army and WIBC.
As the leaves turn golden and the air grows crisp, there's something special brewing, something that captures the very essence of fall. Introducing Pumpkin Something, a smooth, spice-filled bourbon infused with the perfect mixture of allspice, pumpkin, clove, cinnamon, and ginger. It's the taste of autumn in a glass, a sip of warmth on a cool evening. Crafted with care and precision at Hotel Tango Distillery. Known for its commitment to quality and innovation, this new blend promises a unique tasting experience that celebrates the essence of fall. Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery is guaranteed to elevate any fall cocktail. Add it to your warm cider in the evening or to your fall lattes. You can do anything with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery. Available for a limited time only. Visit your local liquor store and bring home the taste of fall with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery, because autumn never tasted so good. Sip responsibly.
It's Terry Stacy, a customer of Premier Deck Coating, and they've changed our life when it comes to saving us time and money, preparing and protecting our deck year after year. Premier Deck Coating is the ultimate deck protection, sister company of Rhino Shield, locally owned. Right now, we've got black walnuts that fall from the trees that normally used to stain the deck, but no more now that we have Premier Deck Coating. It has completely transformed our deck with their special formulated product, and it's backed by a 10-year warranty. They came in, they sanded all the walking surfaces, they repaired the damaged boards, and then they applied their Protect Deck and Railing coating, and that repels mold and moisture, and it resists scratches, and it keeps our deck looking great for years to come. They can also do fences and pergolas, too. And listen to this. Right now, they're able to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans and no payments until next year to qualified customers. Premier Deck Coating, the ultimate deck protection. We love what they were able to do for us. For a free quote, visit premierdeckcoating.com.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Looking for a great deal on a new Lincoln? Come to Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. 0% for 60 months is back. Get 0% APR for 60 months on every new 2024 Lincoln Navigator and get a $4,000 discount. You can also take $3,000 $1,000 off every new 2024 Lincoln Corsair, 70 available. We look forward to seeing you at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Well-qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock L24401, MSRP 107425. Stock L24284, MSRP 43435. See dealer for complete details.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
So, Jerry Lopez has a very important question this Halloween season. We got to get to the bottom of it. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Andy Spanglish in. Kev's here. Kev, you're going to have to chime in on this because you're the single guy. All right, so you and I were pondering just various things, just cackling hens shooting the breeze. Yep. And it is Halloween season, which means Halloween parties. And it means you go out and you see people out in costume. And you and I and Kev were debating, does a good costume make a woman more attractive?
Right.
Like if it's I'm not saying like you go out as Little Bo Peep, but I'm saying, right. And you said
it automatically is like a 1.5 just for the effort. I don't even care what the costume is.
So if you're a Broad Ripple 6, you would become a 7 if you have a decent costume.
Yeah.
Kev, what say you?
Yeah, I think. Well, I was gonna say it depends on the costume, but yeah, I mean, just putting in the effort.
Because like
you seem fun, so you get elevated a little bit.
Yeah,
even if somebody goes as like an Egg McMuffin, that's
you're at least fun.
Yeah,
that's making a woman
but
more
girls
attractive.
are not going out as Egg McMuffins.
Well,
Rob.
some of them are.
I saw a girl dressed as a hot dog once, and I went up to her.
Those girls look like Egg McMuffins the day before they put on that costume anyway, right?
Oh, stop. You're bad. All right, so then that spawned a question that you were asking about.
Guys, at what age is it unacceptable to like go out to a Broad Ripple? No, we're not talking about a house party. We're talking about going out to the bar scene.
Yeah.
In a costume, maybe solo. Like a girl, I think at any age, a woman can put on a costume and it's not an issue. But is it weird if you're in line behind some guy that's by himself and he's dressed as Wolverine?
Right. Okay. So that is kind of an odd thing, though, that you would roll to. I mean, Kevin, I've talked about this before. Sometimes it is fun just to roll to a place solo to see what sort of shenanigans you can get into, because then you're not bound by some other guy or buddy, or I'd like to stay here, but my friends are leaving. But you're saying if you were that dude, but you rolled out in a costume of some sort.
Like you could do that at 24, 25, I think. But I think at 30, like you can, no.
Well, it's part of the, Hammer and I had this debate for years about the backwards hat conversation. And Hammer hated the fact that I would still be backwards hat guy into my 30s. And my thing is you got to use every tool in the toolbox. I mean, once it's like, is Joe Flacco playing the same game he was playing, 15 years ago in the NFL? No, but he's still getting the job done, right? You're a journeyman at this point.
Old faithful.
Right. You got to use every tool in the toolbox. But you say, so costume, yeah, that might unendear you.
To the women you're trying to talk to.
To the women you're trying to.
You have to have a certain level of charisma to pull that off.
True. However, if you are shameless and you are willing, because Kevin, I've talked about this, you got to break a lot of eggs sometimes to make an omelet.
Yeah.
That if you are willing to be shameless, somebody may find that endearing that otherwise might not find you interesting at all.
The confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
And, hey, this person doesn't take themselves too seriously. They're willing to laugh at them. Now, many, many women will laugh at you and not give you the time of day. But if you're in it for the long haul and you don't, some men can't handle rejection.
Right.
Like, you probably handle rejection. I'm not saying you've been rejected a whole bunch, but you don't strike me as the sort of guy.
Yeah, we'll deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you would just move on to the next thing. Kev, how are you with rejection?
I'm good with it.
Yeah, so I think
just move on.
And see, Kevin has an endearing persona about him. Like, Kevin is...
He's not jaded by life yet.
No, but Kevin... we refer to Kevin as sweet, innocent Kevin because he is a wonderful human being. And so I think Kev could go out in a costume and women would be more apt to find that not only reasonable, but also maybe engaging more so. He's also younger, obviously, than us. But Kev is approaching 30. I think Kevin could still get away with it.
I have rolled up to bars with friends who were also dressed up. And this was like, coming from a Halloween party. So there was guys and women. And yeah, it was a good conversation starter.
It is, but you had buddies there. You had cover for...
Yeah, I was not there alone.
Would you go by yourself? Like a mass ass?
That I don't think... I probably wouldn't.
I wish I'd worked here years ago, because now I would totally go out and do this just as a sample, just for an audience, just for a show bit, to see how it went, and then I could report back, because this sounds incredibly enthralling.
I'm going to go buy a costume this weekend. We'll see what happens.
All right, when we come back, this governor's race is beyond ridiculous. You got a new ad out from Jennifer McCormick that is just stupid beyond belief. You got old Dodge and Don Rainwater not answering the questions on Hammer and Nigel on Friday. It's getting nuts. We'll talk about it coming up next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his trillion-dollar spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, making sure your home is prepped for the fall weather, which could wreak havoc on your plumbing, specifically your sump pump. An efficient sump pump is crucial to keeping water out of your home, so making sure yours is working properly is a must. For October, my friends at Hope Plumbing are offering $150 off a new sump pump. That's $150 off a new sump pump that will keep your family safe and dry during this fall season. Call Hope Plumbing or visit them online at hopeplumbing.com.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
At Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, we're good at insurance. But not just any insurance. We're good at fireworks don't go in the attic insurance. Hole in window insurance. Even guy that shouldn't have a chainsaw but has a chainsaw insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. I never thought I'd see price fixing as a campaign promise. What's next? Is your 401k or IRA on the left's to-do list? This is why you need to act now and protect your nest egg. I believe gold is the answer. To find out more, get a free info kit from Birch Gold by texting the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Act now to secure your financial future. Text SHELTER to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and want to work with a local independent dealer you can trust, like B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, what to expect as more testimony is happening today in Delphi. Plus, John Herrick reports on dry weather heading forward, and the governor outlines another option for you to travel across the pond. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Pointing a finger at the Secret Service again.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. This time it's the House Task Force probing the first Trump assassination attempt. Days after an independent panel called for major Secret Service reforms, this House report this morning concludes what happened was
preventable and should not have happened, putting the blame on the U.S. Secret Service and what it details as stunning security failures. Namely, the House committee blames poor communication by Secret Service with the state and local police officers recruited to work the event.
Fox's Eben Brown. 15 days before the election, former President Trump will go to another toss-up state, North Carolina. He'll hold a rally in Greenville after visiting the flood-devastated Asheville area.
You know, half of our town is gone.
Aaron Durham lives in Weaverville and just told Fox this morning.
It's a travesty for small businesses, but also for families.
Vice President Harris will go to 3 battleground states today, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, with anti-Trump Republican Liz Cheney on stage with Harris. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's in Ukraine today,
announcing a $400 million military package. The drawdown includes air defense systems, Javelin anti-tank systems, mortar rounds, wire-guided missiles, and communications equipment. But questions about sustained U.S. spending in Ukraine's war with Russia have been raised should former President Trump win re-election in November.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will fly to Israel today, pushing again for a ceasefire in Gaza after Israel killed Hamas's leader. Jury selection starts today in New York City to put Daniel Penny on trial for manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide.
From his fatal chokehold on Jordan Neely on the subway last year. Court filings say witnesses reported that Neely, who was homeless, began shouting and acting erratically when he got on the train. Penny's attorneys have said Penny did not intend to kill Neely, but instead was trying to protect others and hold Neely down long enough for police to arrive.
That's Fox's CB Cotton outside the court. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Digging into the details. It's 55 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Testimony continuing today in the Delphi murders trial. Taking the stand today as the prosecution makes their case will be Jacob Johns, who is said to be the person who found the murdered bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017. Richard Allen is the man charged with killing them. Indiana hasn't been getting a lot of rain lately. John Herrick reports on how that's affecting the state.
It's put portions of Indiana either in moderate or severe drought.
The longer that we go, I mean, this is our typical dry time of year, but the longer that we go, we'll prolong those drought conditions.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says the forecast calls for little to no rain for almost the next 2 weeks. He's also urging you to watch out for high wind gusts on Tuesday. John Herbeck, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A person killed in a fiery crash on the northeast side early this morning. The crash, in which one of the cars burst into flames, happened along Binford near 52nd Street. Congressman Jim Banks wants to be Senator Jim Banks. If elected, he wants to clamp down hard on immigration.
I think it's totally feasible. Mass deportation of illegals. Today we have the conservative estimates say 15 to 20 million illegals who have come into our country since Biden and Kamala Harris have become president and vice president.
Banks on all Indiana politics. Governor Holcomb earlier this morning at the Indianapolis International Airport.
Starting in May of next year, 2025, Ireland's flag carrier, Aer Lingus, will provide nonstop service to Dublin from Indianapolis.
The new addition to the airport will provide service directly to Dublin from Indy 4 times a week, year-round. The Indiana Hoosiers now ranked 13th in the college football AP Top 25 after their crushing win over Nebraska. The Hoosiers hitting a snag now, though, as quarterback Curtis Rourke is out for their next game against Washington with an injury to his throwing hand. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's not uncommon for us to meet with a new client, and the first thing they say is, "We heard you on the radio."
How can a partnership with WIBC serve your business?
Hi, my name's Richard Michaelis. Our firm's Michaelis Corporation. We're general contractors, and we specialize in insurance restoration.
Brand awareness.
When our business needed to increase our brand awareness, we looked to Radio 1. Throughout the years, we learned their listeners have a large amount of trust when it comes to businesses that are recommended on air. The on-air talent that endorse Michaelis are real customers with real experiences.
Deliver your message to the audience that matters.
Working with Radio 1 has created brand awareness for Michaelis Corporation.
Take your advertising to the next level. Text business to 71007 now.
We've enjoyed our partnership with Radio 1. We look forward to continuing for many years to come.
Get results with WIBC.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
The ads in the race for governor, they're awful. They're just awful all the way around, and there's a new one that may take the trophy. 93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Our old pal, Indy Spanglish, Jerry Lopez, joining us in studio. Spanglish, we got to get in the ad writing and making business because they desperately need our services.
But there's a lot of ads. Somebody's making a lot of money.
This is the point. These ad people and these political consultant people make a killing, and overwhelmingly, especially in the governor's race, which we're about to talk about, their work sucks. Their work sucks. All right, so let's start with Braun. For some reason, even though there's 10 million things you could hit Jennifer McCormick on for being a complete, total leftist, radical maniac, she's disingenuous, she's a shapeshifter, he runs this ad where all the attention becomes about that he used AI and then apparently didn't put the disclaimer on it. I mean, she is a walking, talking billboard to run against. And for some reason, they took all the negative messaging and the story became about, hey, this guy might have violated Indiana election law by not properly putting an AI disclaimer on her ad. Why would you do that?
Right.
So that becomes the conversation and not her radical leftism or how she claims she can't remember she voted for Donald Trump for president.
It's crazy that it's almost like he's playing on her terms, like we said last segment. She put it out there and she said, okay, we're going to fight on this AI, and he's just agreeing to fight on her terms.
Okay, so they fix that, right? And then Braun runs an ad where he's talking to the camera and you kind of get past that. Then she goes, well, wait a second, hold my beer. She has very limited resources, especially compared to the Republicans. And she starts buying premium network ads during college football.
Right.
And the central theme of the message to an audience that is predominantly 25 to 54 men is about abortion. You want to talk about just taking large amounts of money and lighting it on fire? That is Jennifer McCormick running high-priced ads during college football and then the NFL, and your central theme to men. Lopez, you're a dude, you watch a lot of sports.
Yep.
Where on the list of things, you've had a hard week at work, you've been here, you've been your day job, you're leaning back, you're putting your feet up, you're cracking a cold one, you're watching Oregon, Ohio State last week. Where on the list of things you'd want to hear about during that game is abortion?
Yeah. I don't even want to hear anything political during that game.
Right. You're going to,
yeah,
though.
but the abortion is the least of my...
Yeah, as a dude, you want to hear about how are you going to fix my property taxes? How are you going to help the gas tax?
Inflation.
Right. Yes. So she wasted a bunch of money on that. Then apparently she didn't feel that was bad enough because she's got a new ad out. And this ad, Spanglish, it may be the dumbest political ad I've ever seen. And whoever told her that this was a good idea or put this ad together should be fired immediately. So I've got to set this up for you. So
I haven't heard this.
No,
for the record. Yeah, I haven't heard this.
So this ad features a guy who goes by the name Walter. Not Walter Jones.
Not Walter White.
Not Walter White. Not Walter Smith. He just goes by Walter.
Okay.
And he claims to be a Republican from Delaware County. Okay. So it's not like she has some super prominent Republican, like I'm Mitch Daniels and I'm speaking on behalf of Jennifer McCormick. It's not like somebody anybody would know. And even if Walter is a real person, which I have no reason to doubt he is indeed a real person, unless you lived in Delaware County and in probably Walter's neighborhood, you would have no idea who Walter is. So you have a last nameless guy by the name of Walter.
It's a rando that says I'm a Republican.
Who claims to be a Republican. Okay. And this is the ad that they came up with Walter, the last nameless Republican.
Now, I've been a Republican my whole life, but Mike Braun, I can't vote for him. First of all, Braun outsourced his work to China just to make an extra buck. I don't want to talk about abortions, but Braun wants to ban them all, and that's just wrong. And then his running mate, that guy's a batshit crazy book-banning piece of work. I'm proud to be a Republican, but we can't let Mike Braun and Micah Beckwith run Indiana.
I'm proud to be a Republican. So let's start with this. I'm proud to be a Republican.
Just real quick, did the actual commercial, did it?
No, it bleeped it. It bleeped. They can't run that on.
Right, but they didn't say, hey, like, change that up. They just bleeped it.
They bleeped it. They bleeped his mouth, too, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
So you claim to be a Republican, but your Republican United States Senator is not a good enough Republican for you. You claim to be a Republican, but then you clearly have no idea what Mike Braun's actual view on abortion is, which Mike Braun supports Indiana's law on abortion, which clearly has exceptions and does allow abortions. So you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And then you clearly have no idea who the lieutenant governor candidate is or what he actually did, because he wasn't banning books. He was simply saying, we don't want books that contain pornography or sexually suggestive material in the kids section. Let's move them over here. So we're led to believe that Walter, last nameless Walter, is this great Republican who wants abortions and wants pornography in the kids sections at the libraries. That's what Jennifer McCormick came up with, and that's what we're led to believe. Last nameless Walter.
Listen, we can make that commercial right now, you and I, and make thousands of dollars.
My point in all of this is, she paid, her campaign paid.
Was Walter paid for that?
Oh, who knows? We don't even know Walter's a real guy. Because wouldn't you say, my name is Walter Smith, and I've been a Republican since 1958.
I'm from Delaware County. I grew up here. My family's from here. Yeah.
It's last nameless Walter. That is a horrible ad. I'm just to take away the fact that I loathe this woman because she's so dishonest and she's so disingenuous. The ad itself, this is what I'm talking about. These ads that these candidates are running suck. They have all this money. They're spending all this money on these ads, and they can't put together a decent ad. And then where is the candidate, him or herself? How did Braun look at that AI? He's a businessman. He's made a gajillion dollars in business. He's a brilliant guy. It's clear he knows what he's doing. And he didn't look at that and go, yeah, we probably don't need that. She's horrific enough. We don't need to AI it. Or if you're McCormick, now she's an on-demand abortion lunatic. So she loves abortion, right?
Speaking of abortion, Destiny Wells, I'm still waiting for a response from you.
You have asked every day on Twitter.
Yeah. Does she support abortion up until delivery? Just yes or no?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you follow that up. So even if you're McCormick, you're so tone deaf or you're so in love with abortion that you can't realize that you're just flushing money down the toilet running those ads during college football. Then you follow it up with, she looked at that ad and said, yeah, nameless Walter from Delaware County, that's going to move the needle. Well, we are in the wrong business.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
We're too honest.
We could make a fortune writing these ads and running these campaigns for these people because they all suck.
And there has to be at least one prominent Republican that doesn't like Donald Trump that they could have put in this commercial. This Walter does nothing for me.
The other
would have been better off having Tyrese Halliburton than Walter.
I can't. And by the way, these people who think that, and the Democrats, I guess, because they don't have anything really to go at Braun on because he's put his foot in his mouth a couple times. What politician hasn't? But he's squeaky. He's pretty squeaky.
He reminds me of the vampire from Hotel Transylvania. I've seen it enough with my kids. Like, that is Mike Braun to me.
They don't have anything to go at him on. So their silver bullet is they think that people are going to vote for governor. So they're going to vote for Trump. They're going to vote for Banks. Because Destiny Wells is such a bad candidate, they're going to vote for Okita, though they probably could have pulled some votes off there. And then they're going to get to governor.
They're going to go the other way.
And they're going to go the other way.
Zero chance that happens. I think this is going to be a straight red. The red wave was 4 years. They asked for it 4 years early.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've heard anecdotally. I mean, you look at the numbers of people who are voting. I believe it was something like 53 or 57. I can't remember what the exact number was. I'll try to get it for you during the break. Of people who have early voted so far were at least Republican primary voters. Now, does that mean they're straight Republican voters? Do some Democrats vote for Republicans in primary because there's no Democrats? Yeah, of course. But overwhelmingly, even in early voting, which would favor the Democrats, if there's anything that favor the Democrats, it'd be early voting, Republican primary voters are smoking the Democrats. There's nothing that's going to change. It is crazy to me how bad a campaign Jennifer McCormick has run when she actually had an opportunity. There's an actual lane because, let's face it, Braun is not a great candidate. He's not somebody who inspires you to go vote. It's not Mitch Daniels. It's not some person that you're super fired up. In fact, Braun better count as lucky stars that Micah actually won that lieutenant governor's race Because if he didn't have those people coming back into the tent, you might have a ball game. Now, we got to take a break, but you know this, Spanglish. Nothing pisses me off more than the dishonesty. Nothing pisses me off from politicians or want-to-be politicians. If you can't win an election, I guess you're a want-to-be politician. Than blatant deflection, deception. More than the thing that you do, it's the dishonesty and the failure to level with people about it. And we saw it on Friday from our old pal, old Dodgin' Don Rainwater. We're going to play you the audio when we come back. Lopez is in for Casey. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
Sadly, people don't carry cash anymore.
I don't carry cash. No. It's better, especially if you live in a metropolitan area, that you don't have to carry cash.
That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Well, men carry cash, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, stop it.
So how much cash do you have on you right now?
Nothing. None. No. Don't need it. I'm digital, man. Man.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hey, Mark Dietel is the only real estate expert I trust and recommend with the sale of my home. And how about Ray in Indianapolis? Ray needed to move in a hurry, so he was out the door into a new house, but left with the big problem of selling his old house with 2 mortgage payments fast approaching. Heard about Mark Dietel on our show, and he was the answer. He was ecstatic when Mark sold his home for the price they needed in just 2 days on the market.
Mark Dietel is the best, and what separates him from the competition is the guarantee. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is the Mark Dietel guarantee. You pick your move date, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Call Mark Dietel today, 755-4232. That's 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. Mark Dietel, markdietel.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
We are void of people in this country who want to lead, who will level with the voters. Is that a fair statement?
Yep, 100%.
One of the major reasons we are in the condition we are in this country is we have a group of people who lead or want to lead, who winning votes is all that matters to them rather than actually leveling with the voters. And we are seeing that on full display in this Indiana governor's race, and the reaction to it by the supporters of this person who claim, many of them claim to be the people who are the good government, are the accountability, are the liberty and freedom people, is fascinating to me. And we're really seeing, whether it's the candidate or the supporters themselves, everybody is just kind of the same. There really isn't a whole lot of difference. 93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob, our old pal, Indy Spanglish. Jerry Lopez in for Casey today. You can find him on Twitter. One of the best follows you'll find on Twitter. You are a riot on Twitter.
I appreciate it.
Indy Spanglish. And Kev is here as well. So We're going to continue the saga of our old pal Dodgin' Don Rainwater. And look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. What Don Rainwater did stepping forward in 2020, everybody should have given him a round of applause because he was willing to stand up at a time where Eric Holcomb was shutting the state down, was taking away people's liberty and freedom, and Don was willing to say, I will be a voice against that for you at the ballot box.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, especially me, I remember going to the gas station. You must wear a mask. And I'm like, this is a red city in a red state, and Holcomb is allowing this to happen. And to your point, Rainwater came out and was like, no, it's unacceptable. This is not American. I'm like, you know what? This guy has a great point.
Yep.
But he couldn't get enough. But I think he shook up the Republicans a little bit. And you were one of his main champions.
Look, I would have.
Did you get an award? You said
I did. They gave me this is the hilarious thing about the people that are like coming at me now. Maybe I'll bring it in and we'll put it on. We'll take a picture and we'll put it on camera tomorrow. The award that I got. Look, I would have supported a human foot against Eric Holcomb though. So don't kid yourself. I mean, Don Rainwater said, you need to not be required to wear a mask or get a vaccine or shut your business down.
That should be the GOP standpoint, not the Libertarian.
And it was not. So if a human foot had been on the ballot and that had been the Libertarian nominee for governor with that position, I would have supported that. The problem Don ran into is COVID's not the thing anymore. Any lazy person can say, I will not require you to wear a mask. I will not require you to get a vaccine. I will not require you to, I will let your business stay open. That doesn't take any sort of policy chops or intuition. And Don entered an election cycle where the issue at hand, the top issue, which is property taxes, does require a lot of work. It does require a lot of know-how. It does require a lot of fiscal know-how, fiscal management.
And an actual plan. Don't just come here and say you're going to lower it. How are you going to?
And he insulted all the voters when he comes out with this property tax plan, the 7% plan. And then the follow-up question is, okay, how does the money get dispersed? How does it get divided up? What are local governments going to be mandated to cut? And he just stares at you and goes, that's insulting every single person because you clearly didn't take it. You're wasting people's time and not taking it serious. So that's the lead up to this, right? So now the Indiana GOP, because look, Don Rainwater's running for governor.
Right.
He's not running for county surveyor, not even school board. He's running to be the governor of the state of Indiana for 7 million people. And when you don't have a voting record, because Don has never won office, he's lost several times, but he's never won.
How rich is this guy?
Well,
to continue to run these losing campaigns?
Well, we'll get into it. Apparently he's not that rich at all. How you've managed your own life is all we have to go off of. And Don Rainwater made fiscal mismanagement by the Republicans and the fiscal mismanagement of the state the central theme of his campaign. And one of the things that we do on this show is, and our tagline is, we just like all these people equally. We treat all these people the same. We've ripped on Braun numerous times. We've ripped on McCormick numerous times.
He tore up Braun's property tax plan. He came back with a new one that actually had the numbers.
Thank you. Mike Braun literally changed his property tax plan because we went ballistic on this show, and we said the same thing we said about Rainwater, which is you were lazy and you didn't do your homework, and this doesn't work. But you know what he did?
Came back and had it fixed.
Exactly. We treat everybody the same here, and for some reason, the libertarian people, when it comes to Donald Rainwater and us treating him the same as we're treating everyone else, can't stand that. Oh, Rob's of this, Rob's of that. No, we are applying the same. Libertarians want to be big boys. They want to be on the ballot. They want to be treated like adults. We're treating you like adults. And this relates to, and the state GOP sent another mailer out this weekend about Don Rainwater's 15-ish years of immense, gross financial mismanagement. I mean, we are talking about someone who you would not let this person, when you read the entire book on Don, and it's big enough for a book. When you read the book on Don Rainwater, you wouldn't let him run your Little League concession stand the way he managed his money. And what pisses me off is that when presented with this, and when we reached out to him and said, hey, for 5 years, you've used us. Even
you were the number one person I told you this maybe last week when we had a show. I'm like, I got to be honest with you, Rob. When I first met you, I didn't like you because I said I thought you were bad for the Republican Party. And now I realize You're the only one that's getting this stuff fixed because you are holding them accountable. So it's not that I want to vote for Democrats, but there's a lot of things the Republicans need to do better if they just want my vote. And you've always kept it real. And now I look back like, man, this dude's awesome.
So this is, thank you. So this is my problem with Don, is when he's presented with these fact after fact after fact about gross financial mismanagement, and we reach out to him and say, hey, before we pass judgment, why don't you come in here and explain yourself? And it is what it is, and maybe there's some great answer to this.
But at least own it. Own it. Show up.
Tell us what it is. Yeah. It's clear. I have the information in front of me. It's not some isolated incident. It's not that you lost your job one time.
And things happen, dude. Just talk about it.
Right. He goes and hides. He won't return Casey's messages. He goes on a libertarian podcast, and then he still wants access to WIBC. And this was the nail in the coffin. He agrees to go on with Ethan on the afternoon show because Ethan's filling in for Hammer. And so what Don Rainwater is telling you, and we're going to play some of this audio here, is that he doesn't want to be accountable to you. He wanted to cheerlead and yuck it up when I was holding Republicans and Democrats accountable for years. But when it came time for him to be accountable to you, he didn't want any part of that, and he ran to places where he believed people would be sympathetic and supportive. So we're going to play you a clip of this interview with Dodge and Don Rainwater, where he gets asked. There's a document. All this information's public record, by the way, that shows in 2009, which would have been 15 years after his divorce, by the way. Because keep in mind, Don's excuse is, I lost a job and I was a guy down on my luck, and 15 years after his divorce, 15 years, he files for bankruptcy. And on this document, he put that he had over $100,000 of primarily consumer debt. $100,000, Spanglish?
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's not medical debt. That's your credit cards. And
so Ethan, to his credit, because Don wouldn't come on here, Ethan did ask him about it. And I'm going to play. You've not heard this.
I have not heard this.
I'm going to play you the clip where he gets asked 15 years after his divorce, which he blames on all of this. And you tell me what you think of his answer.
What do you have to say with these accusations of not, paying child support? And then also I've heard about the consumer debt that also accumulated around the same time.
Sure. So first of all, let's clarify the time period.
Sure.
This was 30 years ago that this started. My first wife and I divorced. We had 2 children. Shortly after our divorce, I lost my job. And I will be very forthcoming. I won't dodge anything. I spent a good 10 to 12 years trying to get back on my feet.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever experienced a period of time where you feel like you take one step forward and you take 2 steps back, that was the 90s for me. As far as the child support goes, like I said, lose a job, get a little behind, start to try to catch it up. I know that there have been comments made about contempt of court. Anybody who's ever been to family court knows that if you get a little behind on your child support, when you go to court, the judge will say, okay, well, you're making an attempt, but you haven't caught it all up, so we're going to file this in contempt, and you're going to come back in 6 months, and we're going to see where it's at.
All right,
that's not true.
Spanglish, the floor is yours, because whatever I say, people will hate me. So I'm gonna allow you.
So let me give you some perspective. Divorced, pay child support. All right. First of all, as a dad, your first obligation is to your children. So there's no excuse to not pay child support. I don't care. Right. When you
and by the way, real quick, according to court the documents, this shows that he was $5,480 in arrears in 2004, 10 years after his divorce.
Okay.
10 years after, $5,480.
So if you get up to the arrears and more than $5,000, they start taking your tax return. So as long as he's paying taxes, he's going to get caught up quick, right? Also, there is no contempt. They just make you pay more. So this whole thing that he's talking about is a complete lie. All right, 100%, I guarantee that's a lie. right? But 15 years? Dude, how old is he?
He's 60. I think he's 61.
Okay, so at 45 years old, I'm 43. I am figuring it out as we go. But I can't imagine at 45 starting to turn my life into a mess.
This is not about divorce. This is not about his personal life.
This is about personal responsibility.
Thank you.
And if you can't have your own personal response, and we all mess up. We're all trying to figure it out. We're all on our own journeys. But know that you are not in a position to lead the state, dude. I wish the best for you. I hope you figure it out. I want you to be happy. I hope you're successful, and I hope you're a damn good dad. But if you can't keep your own house in check, how are you going to keep the state in check? You got to stop saying we want to make marijuana legal and we want to get rid of COVID. Okay, that's cool. But what is your plan for things that affect me?
And I know we got to get to a break, but I just want to end with this. And then as far as I'm concerned, we're done with this now. It isn't the thing. It's that he ran. And by the way, if it took you 15 years to get your act together, that'd be your 4th term if you're governor. So what, if you screw the state up, by your 4th term, you'll fix it?
I mean, look at Hogsett.
It's not the divorce. It's not any of it. It's that he ran. If he will run from me, what's he going to do for you if he's in office? You think he's going to own up and be accountable to you? He ran from the guy that supported him for years, even when he got kicked off the debate stage because of his terrible polling, even though we're supporting someone else. We gave him a forum 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he took it.
It's crazy to me that he showed up. You helped him more than anybody.
Yes.
And now he can't show up to own the responsibility of the person that helped him.
All right, as far as I'm concerned, unless Don wants to continue to push it or his people want to continue to push it, we're done with it. And we got more on the way next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
How did it get out? Radar is clear. It is 58 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:31. An intelligence leak of plans regarding Israel's expected retaliation against Iran.
The documents were published by an online group called the Middle East Spectator, which the Jerusalem Post and other outlets calls pro-Iran, even though it describes itself as independent. In a statement, the Middle East Spectator claims it got the leaked documents from a Telegram channel online, writing, "We have no connection to the original source, which we assume to be a whistleblower within the U.S. Department of Defense."
Fox's Matt Finn. Election day is now 15 days away. Former President Donald Trump will be in North Carolina today to tour hurricane damage in Asheville and then hold a rally in Greenville. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris will be making stops in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. The New York Liberty are WNBA champions for the first time in franchise history. They beat the Minnesota Lynx 67-62 in overtime in Sunday's decisive Game 5. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. Recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
As the summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-262-1104 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-262-1104. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
My brother never checks on dad. Or, my sister won't make time to take mom to the doctor. Are these things you've heard yourself say? This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I have a caregiving tip for you. Stay tuned.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Expressing anger or resentment toward unsupportive siblings can cause unmendable rifts in relationships. Don't try to control everyone else. You can only control yourself. The success of your caregiving journey does not rest on others. So enjoy the time with your loved one. This is your special time with them. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of our locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product.
Royal Spa.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
IU football has hit the big time. Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC. Casey's out today. Indy Spanglish, our pal, Jerry Lopez. Find him on Twitter at Indy Spanglish. In for Casey, Kev's here. Hammer and I, we have the sports betting podcast, Degenerates Next Door. And boy, did we miss the IU game on Saturday. We had Nebraska getting the 6.5, and IU kicked Nebraska's backside. The Hoosiers are for real.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Indiana football be back because it's usually just a basketball school. So it'll be nice to see that when they get money in that football program after this, it'll be nice to see what they can do.
Yeah, and that was such a huge win for them. Obviously, it's homecoming. You got the Mellencamp statue dedication. He's there the day before. He's on the Fox pregame show. And for them to deliver, because the knock against them was, well, hey, they haven't really played anybody good yet. And how good Nebraska is, hey, they're not Ohio State. But they're a decent football team. And they not only beat them, but they beat the brakes off those guys. And now they find themselves number 13 in the polls. They're right behind Notre Dame. The top 12, now the AP poll is not the poll that they decide who's in the playoffs. But IU football is for real. They're very good. They're fun to watch. And now the big announcement has come out that ESPN's College Game Day, which is kind of the premier.
Yeah, Pat McAfee and everybody.
Yeah, it's been around forever. Kirk Herbstreit, Reese Davis, Lee Corso, who was the former IU coach, is going to be there. They are going to be at IU coming up this Saturday as IU takes on Washington.
That is absolutely amazing. I might make that trip just for the experience.
Yeah, and you got to look at this program because, I mean, remember a couple of years ago, the COVID year, where they had Michael Penix and they had those miracle wins like against Penn State, and then they come in the next year and they're ranked and they're playing great, and then they just fell apart in that Cincinnati game. They got a call that went against them. They fell apart, and then the program has not been the same since. And you're in totally uncharted territory here, and I love this for these kids that this new coach, Signetti, has come in and just totally turned the program around. And boy, it was so cool to see Memorial Stadium full of people, and that's awesome, man.
It's I said it to you. I said something about it, and you go, it's coaching. And he came from a small school, went undefeated until they lost at the end of last year, and had a chance. People were saying this is actually a playoff. Couldn't make the playoffs. How do you leave an undefeated team out? Well, now he's at IU, and he's picked up right where he left off.
So that'll be coming up Saturday. In the meantime, between now and then, I don't know if you're aware of this, Spanglish, but we got a presidential election.
I've heard.
Going on. It's kind of a big deal. So Bernie Sanders, you got to love Bernie Sanders, because one thing about Bernie Sanders is he'll say the things sometimes that other people don't say. I don't know, he's kind of getting long in the tooth. I don't know if he knows he says the things, but he does say the things. And so he was on one of these, I think it was maybe it was CNN he was on. It doesn't matter anyway. He was on one of these talk shows, and he basically admitted Kamala Harris is a complete fraud. She's telling you whatever she thinks you want to hear to get elected, and she doesn't really believe it. Take a listen.
So I know you know this, but in addition to the Green New Deal and Medicare for all, single payer for health care, and ending fracking, in addition to those being positions that you hold, Vice President Harris used to be with you on all three of them, and now is against you on all three of them. Is she making a mistake having reversed those positions?
Look, Jake, I think what we're seeing is a coalition of people, more establishment Democrats and progressive Democrats, and progressive independents, I'm the longest serving independent in American history, come together with the goal of defeating a very dangerous candidate, and that is Donald Trump. In terms of Medicare for all, I personally believe that the current system is broken, dysfunctional. Its major goal is to make billions in profits for the drug companies and the insurance companies, and we end up spending twice as much per capita on health care as the people of any other country, while 87 million are uninsured or underinsured. I think it's a broken system.
First of all, the government has been completely in charge of health care in this country for, 10 years? More than that, 2000, so 14 years since they passed Obamacare. He's admitting that it's completely screwed up. They've had total control over it for 14 years. But that's another conversation. The conversation there is he admitted she'll tell you whatever you want to hear if she thinks that's what it'll take for you to vote for her.
I mean, she ran a Project 2025 commercial about Trump like 2 weeks ago on the NFL, and I'm going, that's a lie. Like, it is a debunked lie. Everybody knows it, right? So, but when I hear Bernie Sanders, I immediately picture Larry David. I don't picture Bernie Sanders. And then when I do picture Bernie Sanders, I picture him with those mittens on. Remember that? Right? I don't know how anybody takes him seriously, because he's a mega millionaire with multiple houses talking about socialism. And that's the problem with socialism. Fidel Castro loved communism because they do. But the people are the ones that hurt.
Your parents fled communism.
100%. First one. I'm first generation. My mom came here on the Mario boat lift.
I think your story is so fascinating, because you not only are close enough to it, but are both your parents still living?
Yeah.
Yeah. They will tell you stories of what happened under communism.
Yeah, my mom is one of 12, and everybody else is back in Cuba.
That's amazing. And you hear about the grid going down in Cuba again, and you're right, but he is telling you that Kamala Harris believes the things that he believes. She wants to do the things that he wants to do. She is a communist the way he is a communist. And she's just lying to you because that's what you need, because he knows you can't get elected running on the things that Bernie Sanders believes in.
And people and politicians know this more than most. Regular civilians that they view as peasants will not do their own research. You'll just believe me.
Yeah, you're right. All right, let's take a break. Hammer's going to join us next. Spanglish is in for Casey. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Coming up on the Hammer and Nigel Show, it's Monday Gun Day with Guy Relford and the biggest stories of the day. All the fun starts at 3 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
Fall in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what Judy did. She called Rhino Shield.
After having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color, because I was very particular.
Now get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield and recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, Bill, where you been? You're overdue for a haircut.
Man, listen, my water pipes burst and flooded my house.
Place a mess. I've been staying with my daughter till I can figure out what to do.
You trying to fix it and move back in?
No way. It's too big a mess. It'll cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I ain't got that kind of money.
You trying to sell it then?
Well, that's what I'd like to do, but who's going to buy my house in this condition?
Did you call Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters?
Simple Quarters bought our house when we were in a jam. We needed to move real quick. They closed fast and gave us cash.
Simple Quarters will buy in any condition?
That's right. They buy as is. You don't have to repair anything or clean anything out. It's simple.
What do I have to do?
Just call them. They'll do a quick walkthrough, then they'll make you an offer.
Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to help people in difficult situations. Call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Check us out at simplequarters.com.
It's Terry Stacy, a customer of Premier Deck Coating, and they've changed our life when it comes to saving us time and money, preparing and protecting our deck year after year. Premier Deck Coating is the ultimate deck protection, sister company of Rhino Shield, locally owned. Right now, we've got black walnuts that fall from the trees that normally used to stain the deck, but no more now that we have Premier Deck Coating. It has completely transformed our deck with their special formulated product, and it's backed by a 10-year warranty. They came in, they sanded all the walking surfaces, they repaired the damaged boards, and then they applied their Protect Deck and Railing coating. And that repels mold and moisture, and it resists scratches, and it keeps our deck looking great for years to come. They can also do fences and pergolas, too. And listen to this. Right now, they're able to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans and no payments until next year to qualified customers. Premier Deck Coating, the ultimate deck protection. We love what they were able to do for us. For a free quote, visit premierdeckcoating.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
He went to arguably the game of the week in college football, and he tore down the stadium. Jason Hammer, hello.
What a fun weekend down in Rocky Top. What a game. That was just a bucket list thing, man. And again, I went down to what's dubbed as the third Saturday in October game. Every year it's Alabama against Tennessee. And I've been to a bunch of Tennessee games down there. This was the loudest I've ever heard Neyland Stadium. So they seat about 102,000. And I was told they had standing room for about another 5,000 or 6,000 there. So roughly 110-ish thousand people screaming at the top of their lungs. That third down late in the game where they ended up getting the sack on Milroe, you could not hear it was so deafening in that place.
And what a wild game, because obviously I was texting you during the game. They played so bad early on, and I had stopped watching it for a little bit. We went over to some friend's house, and so as we were in the car, I wasn't watching, and then I turned it back on when we got there. And they were back in that game. What a comeback for Tennessee.
So, Rob, as a Bears fan, I think you can appreciate this. There's a lot of similarities between that 2006 Bears team and this Tennessee Vols team.
Yep.
Tennessee's defense is probably one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
They just need a little help from the offense once in a while, and Tennessee has not scored a point in the first half since September.
Wow.
So this quote-unquote high-powered offense that, Josh Heupel, their coach, is supposed to run, has been struggling. But, man, they got it going. That place was rocking and rolling. We were part of a field rush. The goalpost got torn down.
Did you walk it somewhere? Did you walk the goalpost somewhere?
So security this time, because this happened last time they beat Alabama too, and it ended up in the Tennessee River. They were ready with the mace this time. So
is that why your face is so red?
The students got it toward the exits, and then don't tase me, bro. That was kind of the situation.
I was picturing like Kevin Bacon in Animal House. All is well. All is well. But that actually ended up because that Texas game was a complete stinker. Everybody thought that was going to be the big one. That Alabama-Tennessee game ended up being the game of the week.
Dude, the SEC is just different.
Oh.
It is unbelievable.
We were talking about this during the break because obviously now IU is on the peripheral, at least by the AP poll.
IU football is ranked above Alabama football.
Isn't that crazy?
Let that sink in, baby.
Yeah. But we were kind of laughing about no matter how much they try to make it more fair or even, like if you look at the top SEC teams, because right now if Notre Dame wins out, now they got to play Army, they got to play Navy, who are both pretty good. And
Let's go Army.
They got to play USC, but on paper they should win each of those games. If they win out with that one loss, they're easily in. Yeah. But Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU would all beat the brakes off Notre Dame. But yet Notre Dame would easily be in if they run the table, and some of those SEC teams are probably going to be on the outside looking in.
Yeah. This playoff, I love the playoff because it's making all these games worthwhile now. It's going to be interesting down the stretch. Now, I did come bearing gifts, Rob.
Oh, how exciting.
I got a little something for sweet Livy.
What are we doing here?
Your daughter, Livy, here.
Oh, no.
A little Tennessee cheerleading uniform.
Look at this.
Now, there's two reasons we bought this. One, I think your daughter will look adorable in it. And number two, I know this will really piss off that no good rotten Mike Kendall, your dad, the big Notre Dame fan.
So Hammer sends me a text he's at the game, and I was over at my dad's house. We were watching the game, and he goes, "What size shirt does your kid wear?" And I was like, "Tiny."
Rob's in October.
I don't know, a baby. And I was like, "How long do I have to ask my wife? Because she'll know." And Hammer's like, 5 minutes.
What size?
She's not going to see her phone that fast.
So we went with the 2T size.
Yeah, excellent. I'm sure we'll be over at your house at some point. We'll have her wear it for some big Tennessee football game or something.
Well, they got the privilege of going down to Georgia here in about a month, which is always tough. So.
Man, I'm so glad you got to do that. I know that was a bucket list thing for you, and what a game. And I was torn because you bet against Tennessee. So I asked you, I said, would you rather win your bet or win the game? And you did the fan thing and said, win the game.
Oh, win the game. Not even close.
Be the best bet you ever lost.
Right. I was rooting against myself, right? And, man, just the atmosphere was unbelievable. And now, College Game Day coming to Bloomington this weekend. I heard you guys talking about that. You need to have Casey pull some strings and get her old high school classmate Kirk Herbstreit on your show.
So for those who don't know, Casey had a huge crush on Kirk Herbstreit. They went to the same high school together. And Kirk Herbstreit, for, I don't know, I guess a variety of reasons, went with a woman by the name of Jenny Ruby instead of Casey. I've given Casey some thoughts on why that might have been. She really doesn't want to hear that. So she does know Kirk Herbstreit, and maybe the Kendall and Casey show will have a spot down there for College Game Day.
She saw him at a class reunion, right?
Yeah, and he had security, she said. Can you imagine?
No.
I mean, if Kirk Herbstreit walked into a Wendy's, would anybody know him?
Like, I would, but I'm a college football nerd.
Well, right. I mean, what percentage of people would be, if he walked in the Wendy's, went through the line, and ordered what are they at Wendy's? Double stack.
McFlurry used to work there.
So with College Game Day coming to IU, who's going to be like the celebrity guest picker? Is it going to be Mark Cuban? Do we have to sit through Mark Cuban? Or is it going to be
John
Mellencamp?
Yeah, Mellencamp maybe.
And by the way, the statue of Mellencamp looks like Kevin Nealon.
He does.
We posted about this on our social media feed. The statue that they made down there of John Mellencamp, which, great, because he donates a lot of money to the university. Good for him. But the statue looks like Kevin Nealon.
It does. It does not look like him. I agree with you.
There's no cigarette hanging out of his mouth or his hand, and it just looks like Kevin Nealon.
Okay, where are we at with Mellencamp dropping the F-bomb on Fox? I mean, come on, man. You know you're on broadcast television. You've been in entertainment for 50-plus years. can't you just not swear for 5 minutes on broadcast television?
See, I missed it. I was over at the game, but I saw people, posting about it.
Well, he goes on there and he's telling the story about buying a ticket when Lee Corso was the coach. And, I was sitting way up in the, obviously I'm not getting the quote correct, but, I was sitting way up at the top, right, effing up there or whatever. And it's like, really? I know you think you're the coolest guy in every room you walk into, but you're 70 some odd years old. You're on broadcast television. Can't we just not drop an F-bomb?
Right. Now, if ESPN has any guts, if they have any courage, you bring back Sage Steele.
There it is. Yeah, definitely.
And you make her a part of the game day experience.
Definitely. I love it. Hey, what are we doing this afternoon on the Hammer and Nigel show?
I don't know. I just got back late last night, so Guy Relford will not be able to make it today. He's got a family situation. He'll join us tomorrow.
You want me to talk about guns? I can just make some stuff
up. But we also have Kevin Bowen recapping the Colts game. Yeah. And, 15 days to the election. We're going to get you ready.
Yeah, all right. Stick around. A lot more on the way. Spanglish is in for Casey. It's the Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Pat Sullivan here, hoping not to spook you, but did you know that you could have a pipe leaking and not even know it? My friends at Hope Plumbing highly recommend the installation of Streamlabs, which is a water leak detection at your fingertips. A Streamlabs system will detect, notify, and prevent possibly thousands of dollars worth of damage by automatically shutting off the water. Call Hope Plumbing today at 641-HOPE to schedule an appointment to keep those pipes from giving you a fright.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, who will be lending some perspective today in the Delphi murders trial? Plus, Donnie Burgess reports on why the cops fired their guns over the weekend, and the drought is back, and so are the burn bans. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
More Americans are casting their ballots 15 days before the election. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Early in-person voting underway in 8 more states. None are considered toss-up battlegrounds. Vice President Harris will go to 3 of those today, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, where Fox's Peter Ducey reports from Royal Oak. In each stop, the vice president will be joined by an anti-Trump Republican.
Liz Cheney. The Harris campaign is trying to reach Republican women who they think are disenchanted with Donald Trump. And so expect to hear Liz Cheney talk a lot about how she thinks Donald Trump is a threat to democracy.
Now, the Harris campaign and Democrats raised another $633 million last quarter. In September alone, they took in more than double the amount of campaign cash as the Trump administration and Republicans. In about an hour, former President Trump will be in North Carolina, but Democratic Governor Roy Cooper not putting out the welcome mat.
Donald Trump is coming to Asheville today. I'm asking that he not share lies or misinformation while he is here.
The former president's been very critical of the federal response to the Hurricane Helene flooding disaster. He'll also hold a rally later in Greenville and meet with church leaders in Concord, North Carolina. The House task force investigating the first Trump assassination attempt has a report this morning calling it preventable, detailing Secret Service communication failures that's stopping the gunman Thomas Crooks.
Local officials had information on Crooks around 5 p.m. that local time. They started sending messages to the Secret Service between 5:38 and 5:51 p.m. local time. It is unclear still to this day if the detail protecting Trump ever received them. He remained on stage, and Trump was shot around 6:11, 6:12 p.m.
That's Fox Business Network's Lauren Simonetti. The former president grazed in the ear. A Trump win at the Supreme Court dismissing his ex-lawyer Michael Cohen's attempt to revive a lawsuit. Cohen alleged he was imprisoned in 2020 when President Trump was still in office after writing a book critical of him. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Who they will call next. Radar is clear. It is 61 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. The Delphi murders trial continuing today in Carroll County. The prosecution is set to call even more witnesses, including the man who found the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German. Richard Allen is the man accused of murdering the 2 girls. A man was shot and killed by police in Lawrenceburg Saturday. Donnie Burgess reports.
The man was threatening people with a knife and shooting a gun inside the Hollywood Casino Hotel. That's the info from Indiana State Police, who have the investigation now. Lawrenceburg police showed up around 1 a.m. Saturday to confront the suspect. They ordered him to drop the gun. Police say he shot first, so they shot back, killing him. One hotel guest was slightly hurt before police arrived. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
At the Indianapolis International Airport earlier this morning.
Starting in May of next year, 2025, Ireland's flag carrier, Aer Lingus, will provide nonstop service to Dublin from Indianapolis.
Governor Eric Holcomb saying that the direct flights to Dublin will open Hoosiers up to smoother connections to places all throughout Europe. You're being told not to burn anything outside. Part of the reason is because it will be both windy and dry all week long.
We are expecting tomorrow the winds to increase a little bit more, leading to just a little higher threat of wildfire spread in that case.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service says the winds could get up to 25 miles per hour at times. The Indiana football Hoosiers keep climbing the rankings after their win over Nebraska Saturday.
It was a tight game, like I said, and then we broke it open with some key plays. Some of those back shoulder catches got us going, and Curtis, we hit a couple runs. And they couldn't answer.
Head coach Kurt Signetti, the Hoosiers are number 13 in the nation now. Starting quarterback Curtis Rourke, though, is out for the time being. He has an injury to his throwing hand. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
As the leaves turn golden and the air grows crisp, there's something special brewing, something that captures the very essence of fall. Introducing Pumpkin Something, a smooth, spice-filled bourbon infused with the perfect mixture of allspice, Pumpkin, clove, cinnamon, and ginger. It's the taste of autumn in a glass. A sip of warmth on a cool evening. Crafted with care and precision at Hotel Tango Distillery. Known for its commitment to quality and innovation, this new blend promises a unique tasting experience that celebrates the essence of fall. Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery is guaranteed to elevate any fall cocktail. Add it to your warm cider in the evening or to your fall lattes. You can do anything with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery. Available for a limited time only. Visit your local liquor store and bring home the taste of fall with Pumpkin Something from Hotel Tango Distillery, because autumn never tasted so good. Sip responsibly.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So Trump told a funny story about Arnold Palmer's manhood, and now everybody's losing their mind. Because of course they are, right? We just need to be offended. 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Our old pal, Jerry Lopez. Find him on Twitter, at Indy Spanglish in. Kev's here. So Trump's in Pennsylvania. I believe it was in... or very near Arnold Palmer's hometown of Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Arnold Palmer, for those I assume most people know, but it's radio, so you never know. We have some non-sports people listen. One of the most famous golfers of all time, sort of the Tiger Woods before Tiger Woods, nicknamed the King. He came of age in the 60s when golf was first being put on television.
He's the only person they compared. Can Tiger beat Arnold?
Yeah, and then obviously Jack Nicklaus with the majors later. But in terms of excitement, Arnie's Army, he was a super, super famous golfer, one of the greatest golfers of all time. And so Trump is in, and Arnold Palmer became sort of this grandfatherly type figure after his playing days were over. He made a fortune selling golf clubs, building golf courses. He was on television. The famous drink, tea and lemonade. It's an Arnold Palmer, and wear the sweaters, became this grandfatherly type of figure. But Arnold Palmer in his heyday, he was a real hothead. He was a chain smoking, having a good time. He was a little different in his heyday. And so Trump's in Pennsylvania, and he tells this story about Arnold Palmer, and everybody's freaking out. So I want you to listen to it. You tell me if you think this is any big deal.
Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God. That's unbelievable. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here, but they used to look at Arnold and say, man, but he was really something special. Arnold was something special. So I just want to tell you, you're very lucky, the people that live in Latrobe, and it's an honor for me to be here because of him. And he was he was a great man, and I don't think there would be golf to the extent that you have it today. It probably wouldn't be that way without the great Arnold Palmer. So enjoy it, everybody. Enjoy it.
Okay, so I listened to that and I thought, what remotely would be offensive about that? He said he's a great guy. It's great he's from your hometown. You should be honored that he is. Hey, and the guy was very well endowed. Like chuckle. What? It's 2024. It's what are we upset about here?
I mean, it's all compliments, right?
Yeah. If 10 years after I pass away, somebody comes to Brownsburg, Indiana to do a rally, and they say, Rob Kendall was a phenomenal human being. He was a great guy. You should be honored that he is from your hometown, that you say you're from the same place as he is. He did a lot for society.
And he had 3 legs.
And he was very well endowed. I can assure you my estate will know. I will order my estate in my will. Do not in any way object or act remotely offended if somebody says those things about me.
I don't assume Arnold Palmer's going to send him a cease and desist.
Well, some people who from his family are a little upset by this, but I think they're Democrats and they're big Kamala people, and they're just up in arms. And so Jake Tapper, who's the CNN guy, had Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House of Representatives, on, and
he is just up in arms that Trump told this joke about Arnold Palmer, and Mike Johnson points out how weird it is that he keeps bringing it up.
Why is he talking about Arnold Palmer's penis in front of Pennsylvania voters?
Jake, you seem to like that line a lot. Let me tell you that Donald Trump is doing rallies nonstop around the country.
Let me just say something. I don't want to be talking about that.
Right.
Donald Trump is out there saying it is.
But you continue to.
Yeah, you keep talking about it. If you don't want to talk about it, don't tell you. It's a throwaway line in a rally.
Yeah, you keep bringing this up.
Like, people act, oh, he's losing his mind. He's rambling incoherently. No, he knew exactly what he was saying.
Yep.
He was paying a compliment to a guy. And look, if the word on the street is you have a nice-sized manhood, then again, by all means.
I would go out more.
Every day.
You would see me more. Did you hear what I?
Spanglish, back me up on this, okay? If you want people to know, if that's the word on the street about you, no man ever is going to be offended. Oh my gosh, another dude was telling society how well endowed I was.
Hey man, you need to stop doing that. I wouldn't do that.
That never happened ever. And Jake Tapper is just up in arms and acted as though he had gone and peed on his grave in some capacity.
The crazy part is, like, it's not even surprising. Donald Trump says the most outlandish things. He literally just talked about a man's manhood, and we're laughing, and it's just like he's changed the political sphere going forward.
Totally. And it blows my mind that is what people are up in arms about. Okay, so I'm going to Indy Spanglish, Jerry Lopez, is in for Casey Day. I'm going to play you a clip of Kamala Harris, and your job, Spanglish, is to tell me what she said. All right?
All right.
Are you ready? Here we go, Kev.
Because when we think about the strength of our democracy, I think that there's a duality to the nature of democracy. When it's intact, it's so strong in terms of what it does to uphold and protect individual rights and freedoms. So strong in its nature. And it's very fragile.
Got it. I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, it's talking about Arnold Palmer. All right.
What is she saying?
She's the queen. You know who she is? She is the kid. We were all that kid. You got in trouble, write our essay, and you're just word filling this page. She just throws up words.
It's unbelievable that people are up in arms that Trump very coherently tells a joke about apparently something that was very well known about Arnold Palmer, and Jake Tapper's just outraged over that. But this woman, who is a candidate for president, who is, you're right, it's Peter Griffin. It's when Peter Griffin is running for the school board off Family Guy, and you take the good, they take the bad, you take the rest, and there you have my opening statement: sit, Ubu, sit, good dog. Like that. She is the real life Peter Griffin running for the school board, and not a peep about that, but a joke about Arnold Palmer's manhood is just, that is the end of the world. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, there is now proof about how, and we say this all the time, about how the mainstream national media is nothing more than an arm of the Democrat Party. They are cheerleaders for the Democrat Party, and they will do whatever it takes to try to save the Democrat Party. And we have proof, this clip from CBS, Kamala Harris, and how they edited the clip to make her sound better. Plus, some great audio from Hulk Hogan, brother. We'll talk about it coming up next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
It's been a long slog.
Donald Trump is a disaster for working people.
This is the worst response to a hurricane ever.
Now, there are less than 4 weeks to go.
Everyone goes out and votes.
The choice is in sight.
Somebody said...
He said...
She's incompetent.
And he's trying to gaslight people all over our country.
And it's not going to get any more polite.
We cannot be stopped.
I will get caught up in the rhetoric.
We'll follow it all to the finish on your 2024 election information station, 93 WIBC.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his $1 trillion spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new Office of Environmental Justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Yeah! There you go. None of that Tommy Shaw crap. There you go. Well done.
It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Jerry Lopez, our old buddy Indy Spanglish on Twitter. And for Casey, Kev's here. So we've said this for a long time, that the mainstream national media is nothing more than an arm, in many cases, of the Democrat Party. They will manipulate, they will deceive, they will tank for the Democrats. And now, not that you needed proof of it, but there is another example of this. So Kamala Harris did that CBS 60 Minutes interview. It ran on a variety of CBS platforms. And it was, even what aired was a disaster. I mean, even what aired was a disaster. And they, Trump had come out, and of course, it's amazing how many things Trump says and he's proven correct. People are like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, Trump's making it up. And then, a week, 2 weeks, a year down the line.
Basically conspiracy theorist.
Right. And it gets proven correct. And he said they manipulated the interview in her favor. And, of course, there was pushback on it. No, that didn't happen. And now it's come out. They totally did. They totally selectively edited the interview to make her sound better because she's such an idiot. Here it is, back to back, these 2 clips. The first one is the edited version. The second one is what actually aired.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Yeah, that was 60 minutes.
Yeah, we're done here, right?
That's supposed to be top of the line journalism.
They manipulated that because she's an idiot and she can't think for herself and she has no idea what she's talking about. And when she does actually say her views, they sound so ridiculous and outside the mainstream that they chopped that up to make her sound better.
Yeah, well, they know who butters their bread, right? So they are in bed with the Democrat Party.
All right, so I didn't think we were going to do this today, but again, we talked earlier in the show about some of the kind of crazy people that are becoming surrogates for Donald Trump. And one thing Trump does that Republicans have never done well is he brings celebrity into the fold. He brings celebrity and the attention that comes with celebrity into the fold. Now, as we talked about with Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift has proven, just because a celebrity tells you to vote for someone, I don't think that moves
the needle.
What about younger people, though? Maybe not us, but what about the first-time voter that's 18, 19, 20, 21?
Well, clearly she's had a lack of success in the past in terms of people she's endorsed, even in her supposed home state of Tennessee. But I do wonder, like with Antonio Brown, does he bring a block of people potentially with him who are otherwise either not paying attention to politics or otherwise would not engage in the political process or otherwise would not even consider voting for Donald Trump?
100%. 100, without a doubt, because now it's safe to say that I support Donald Trump because now this other guy who you like also supports Donald Trump.
Yeah, the same thing. So like I saw Donald Trump is doing the Undertaker's podcast.
He has been on a run that is, he did Milk Boys, he did Flagrant, he did a bunch of these.
Well, we talked about this because Kev listens to a lot of these. These are totally geared at Gen Z men, which he's doing very well.
And they're free flow.
Right. The Kevin, now you're a millennial, I think, technically, but
younger millennial.
But yeah, the younger, the late 20s, maybe even early 30s men, especially single dudes, etc. Like he's targeting that. So like when he's doing this podcast with The Undertaker, nobody thinks you're going to get a robust public policy conversation. Now, I don't know if a bunch of it's going to be about wrestling or what, but he's clearly looking for pockets of people. We've talked about this. The Robert F. Kennedy Jr. endorsement. It's not that the millions of people are going to endorse, but it's a pocket of people. Tulsi Gabbard, pockets of people. Antonio Brown, small pockets, but pockets of people. The Undertaker, pockets of people. That are otherwise these shows that people like Kevin listen to. They're pockets of people. And when you put all the pockets together, if you can get enough of them who otherwise wouldn't vote or maybe were on the fence and then go to you in these swing states, then you create a coalition by if 10,000 votes decides the state, then you win.
100%.
So one of the people that is I call him a pocket person, I think potentially, is Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan
was a person of our childhood.
It is, right? It's not that anybody's going, well, whatever you tell me to, brother, I'm going to do. But there's enough people who otherwise might not pay attention or might not engage who... Let's face it, Hulk Hogan was the star of the Republican convention. His speech, and I was super critical of it. I was so wrong about that. His speech, when he gets out of character and goes, my name is Terry Bollea, I didn't even know he remembered his own name. I didn't even remember his name. No, he thought his name wasn't really Hulk Hogan. Well, when he gives that speech about who he is as a person and drops the gimmick and, talks about who he is as a human being, that was great. And so Hulk Hogan is out there being a surrogate. He's what I call a pocket person. And he said something that I want to discuss with you. Let's take a listen.
I hear what you're saying about the polls, and it's even Steven, and it might be a close call, but let me tell you something. I don't believe the polls. It's going to be a landslide. Too big to rig, brother, is the theme here. And
So Hulk Hogan is saying, so the polls are very close. Many of them now show Trump with a small lead. Hulk Hogan is saying, I don't think it's that close. I think Trump's way ahead. And I hear that from a lot of people that are Trump supporters, that they are going off past polling that's been wrong. And if the past polling is wrong again, the way it is, the fact that he's winning now, he's winning overwhelmingly. I'm going to give you the floor on this first because I think my opinion may be unpopular. So I'll let you go first so everybody will stay engaged.
There we go.
Where do you think? Where do you think the election is at right now?
So I don't believe the polls either. But polls don't get you elected.
Right.
So my fear is, I think they keep the polls close to try to feel like we have a chance on the left, because if they say she's down 20 points, people are going to disengage, right? So we keep it close. My fear is that Republicans get overconfident and don't go out and overwhelm the poll. We got to go out and vote, vote, vote. Who cares what the polls are now? Remember Hillary Clinton?
Yeah. So you think that you believe the polling that we saw in 2016 and 2020 is still continuing, where there's quiet Trump people who are going to go vote for Trump who will not tell a pollster they're going to vote for Trump?
100%.
Or the poll, do you believe it's that? Because there's two possibilities.
I think people aren't saying anything, and I think the polls are lying.
Okay, because there's two theories on this. There's theory A, which is the pollsters are just manipulating data and they're totally in the tank. Which I don't know what they actually get out of that, because then they look stupid.
Look at 60 Minutes.
Well, you're right. Okay, perfect. Thank you. A point for you. One side for Mr. Spanglish. But then there's also a theory of he's so hard to poll because he brings so many different people into the equation. And the I think it was The Hill had an article, we talked about this last week, about they interviewed a bunch of pollsters, said, we're trying to correct what we've messed up in the past, but we now are concerned we're overcorrecting. And I do wonder how many people are still shy about telling people they're voting for Donald Trump. Because you would think at this point people are sick of the crap and if you're Trump, right? But do we believe there's still a bunch of people that they're either missing or not telling pollsters the truth?
I don't know about not telling pollsters the truth. I think that there are a lot of Trump supporters who don't have signs in their yard, who are just being very quiet.
Here's what I worry about. And in 2020, when we had that little group roundtable, everybody, the air staff at WIBC, we did a video. And everybody was like, it doesn't matter what the polls say, it's Trump all the way. And I was the only one who was kind of like, well, it's not, I don't think so. Because I just felt like the issues that were at people's forefront, Trump was not very good on. Now, I think 2024 is more like 2016 than 2020. I think the issues are better suited for Trump. What I don't think is taken into account is the machine. And you look at the three key states, which is Pennsylvania, it's Michigan, it's Wisconsin. There is a Democrat machine at play that, A, can get people to go vote, or in the case of Pennsylvania, can make up the vote. And if you look at the votes that are being turned in early voting in Pennsylvania, they are building an election day firewall. If you believe that every Democrat voter, like they have registered voters and registered Democrats are turning in their ballots at a greater pace than the Republicans, if all those people are indeed voting Democrat, they are building a several 100,000 vote firewall, and it is believed, based on past elections, that if they can get that to 350 or 400, it's going to be tough for Trump to overcome on election day. Now, they're in the 200s somewhere last I checked. But I look at that, and I say, okay, well, data's telling me something different than the polls are telling me, which data is telling me the machine is turning out. And in a state like Pennsylvania where anybody can vote and you have no idea who's voting, you have no idea who filled out the ballot, I just think there's some people who are not, maybe they're seeing it more with their heart than their head, that until you figure out how to beat the machine.
Like we all are just like, obviously everybody's going to vote for Trump. We're all upset.
Right.
We're not realizing. So what we do to fix it, well, man of fixes. Everybody go visit your dead grandparents and encourage them to vote for Donald Trump.
Because one of the things I try to do is I try to read. Look, I know some people can't do this, but you can actually read the other side and you will not spontaneously combust. You can actually read how other people think, and it will actually really help you if you're one of the reasons I'm good at arguing is I know how other people think. And when you know how other people think, you know how to beat them in a debate or a discussion. You have to get outside your comfort zone and learn how those people think and how they correspond. And when you read liberal Twitter, like there are liberal people, like especially I'll read people who are based out of Pennsylvania. Now, they're clearly liberal and they're cheering for one side. But when you read the comments on their posts, it's just as passionate. We live in this echo chamber where because it's algorithms, right? You see your own people, you think, well, everybody's voting for Trump. People need to realize that the liberal Twitter, the liberal people who are our equivalent on their side,
are seeing all liberal tweets on theirs.
They're seeing all the same thing, and the people are just as passionate. So I would just caution people that the data doesn't totally back up right now. Now, maybe all those people aren't all voting Democrat. Maybe Election Day is going to be this wave of people that
Do you think people are excited to vote for Kamala, though? Like people were excited to vote against Trump last election. I don't think there's that same amount of energy.
Right, which it comes back to what I say. The machine doesn't care. The machine will turn out.
So we'll add however many we need.
And in a place like Pennsylvania, they can make it. You can make the number, whatever it needs to be. So I'm not saying Trump's going to lose. I'm just saying I would be cautiously optimistic for these people who are like, well, if he's up 1 in the polls, he must be up 7 or 8.
And that's my train of thought.
Right, yeah. So it'll be interesting. I hope you're right. I totally 100% hope you're right. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, all right. Trump gave an answer about what his favorite farm animal was, and it's just awesome. Can we talk about it?
Definitely. This guy, stay with the hits.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
If you are a single or widowed woman, well, the statistics aren't very pretty. You run into a far greater risk of running out of money in retirement than any man or married couple. Hello there. It's Terry Stacy, and the last thing you want to be is 80 years old, full of life, and flat broke. Discover the strategies that could ensure you never run out of money in retirement with Bill Demery, your retirement guy, right here in Indy. I know Bill, and I trust Bill, and I'm so thankful that he was able to help my mom, too. I don't put my name on any random Joe, but I'm here to say you can count on Bill Demery. Call Bill at 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212. 888-349-5212. Call Bill right now.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
More voting ahead of time. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Early voting starting today in several more states. That includes Texas, Florida, Arkansas, South Carolina, and Connecticut. Early voting has been underway for a week in North Carolina, and that's where President Trump has been making appearances so far today. Indiana early voting has been underway for weeks. It's going to be windy to start the week all across the state.
We are expecting tomorrow the winds to increase a little bit more, leading to just a little higher threat of wildfire spread in that case.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service says it's best that you don't burn anything outside. The last full-sized Kmart store in the continental U.S. is closed permanently. The Kmart in Bridgehampton, New York, shut down on Sunday at the end of business. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You need better water, really. Why don't you call C&J Water today for a free water analysis and see why you need better water? When you do, you'll get a 10% discount on all C&J Water products to improve your water quality today. For better skin and hair, you don't need a different shampoo, detergent, or lotion. You need better water. Now's a great time to upgrade. Call C&J Water for great systems and great people too. 317-733-SOFT. That's 317-733-SOFT.
Pacers basketball is ready to run it back and show the world that our time is now.
Oh, boy! Turner with the dunk!
Get ready to experience the most fun, fast-paced team in basketball when the action tips off at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Opening night, presented by Kroger, tips off when your Pacers meet the 76ers Sunday at 3:30. Lucas Oil Family Night tickets start at $39 and include a Pacers hat, hot dog, chips, and a small Pepsi product. Get your tickets at Pacers.com/family. Pacers 76ers, Sunday at 3:30.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Donald Trump got asked what his favorite farm animal was on Fox News, and his answer was just is awesome. It's Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC. I'm Rob. Jerry Lopez, Indy Spanglish, in for Casey today. Kev is here. What a day we've had. I mean, for people who missed the opening hour, this was, we know we're number one, right? Like, we see the ratings. We know we're number one. We don't need affirmation from anyone. But, the politicians, and you notice they've stopped doing it now, right? They used to, who would be listening? No one is listening. So here's how many people actually listen to our show. And the odds of this happening are unbelievable. So, opening segment, we were talking about Trump working at McDonald's and how he was doing it because Kamala didn't work at the McDonald's. She can't name a single person she worked with, where the McDonald's was, when it was, anything. So he went there to prove that point. And we were saying, if you really worked at a place, you would be able to say, like, one person you worked with, or where it was, or when it was. I mean, there would be things you would be able to recall. And you said, hey, in high school, I had talked about working at Arby's. I named 10 people off the top of my head who I worked with at the Brownsburg Arby's in high school 24 years ago. You said, hey, in high school I worked at the McDonald's by Pike, and my manager's name was Mandy, and I applied for the job there because Mandy was hot and I wanted to work with Mandy. And within
like 2 minutes,
you get a message. You're not friends with this woman on Facebook.
Not at all. No.
From Mandy, who said,
"Hi Jerry, ha ha ha."
And then she proceeded to say, "I love Robin Casey. I listen every day. This is our show."
Yeah.
And this is why when we talk about people, this is why we move the needle, and they know that. They want to hate us, but they know we move the needle. No, our audience moves the needle.
Yeah.
We are nothing without the audience, and they know. And one of the reasons, this is what I wish I could get through to these politicians. Our audience is proving people are ready for something different. They're ready for people who are not bullcrapping them. We're not number one because we're the greatest broadcasters ever. We're number one because we don't bullcrap people. We do not have favorites. We tell people like it is. We dislike all of these people equally. And if you're going to call bullcrap, whether you're a Republican, we've beat the crap out of Braun over the past year, whether you're a Democrat, we beat the crap out of McCormick over the past year, or whether you're a Libertarian, over the past week, we beat the crap out of Donald Rainwater. We are an equal opportunity offender. We dislike all of these people equally.
Yeah, it's very important, especially today. I think that's why people like Donald Trump, because he keeps it real.
Yeah,
right?
and I don't know who needs to hear this, because I keep it, the defense from the Rainwater people is, well, Trump filed for bankruptcy too. Donald Trump has owned hundreds of companies over the years in not just many states, but many countries. And the fact that I believe the number is 4 of them. 4 of those companies over the years he's chosen to file for bankruptcy. He's employed hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people at this point. The idea that you are trying to equate a guy who has employed hundreds of thousands of people, has owned hundreds and hundreds of companies, is a billionaire because 4 of those companies, he used a tax advantage to his benefit. You're trying to equate that to some guy who documents show had racked up $100,000 in consumer debt?
And didn't pay child support. That's a big one for me.
We're not even on the same planet, but the links they're trying to stretch it to compare Donald Rainwater, who you wouldn't let manage the Little League concession stand, to Donald Trump, who 4 of his companies? Give me a break. Get out of here. All right. So Trump was on Fox News, and he was doing some sort of question and answer with listeners, which I love. I love when they do this. They asked Trump what his favorite farm animal was, and his answer was just great.
We got a fun one.
But we'll fix it.
We got a 6-year-old from Massachusetts, and he wants to know about your favorite animal. Let's watch.
President, my name is Briar. I'm 6 years old. I live on a farm in Massachusetts. What's your favorite farm animal?
Favorite farm animal?
What's the animal?
Well, this guy come up in the city. I'll tell you what I love. I love cows. But if we go with Kamala, you won't have any cows anymore because you're not allowed. I don't want to ruin this kid's day. But I love cows. I think they're so cute and so beautiful and so productive. But according to Kamala, who's a radical left lunatic, you will not have any cows anymore. So we have to vote her out. If you like cows, you have to vote. I know.
Our show needs 4 more years of Trump.
Yeah.
I can't fathom a world.
Everybody does. The liberal media needs 4 more years of Trump.
Yeah,
when he went away, look how bad their ratings did. Everybody got fired because now guess what? Don Lemon got paid from talking about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Jake Tapper got paid from talking about Donald Trump. When it was Joe Biden and Donald Trump went away, they start firing everybody.
Yeah, you and I were talking about this during the break. I am, and this makes some of the Trump people, again, equal opportunity offender, right? I am not a person who believes Donald Trump is going to the country is, it's like a ship, right, in the night, that the ship is just going to immediately turn around because Trump gets elected. Now, I do think that Trump will do infinitely better on foreign policy. I think people fear him internationally. I think the Iran stuff, I think Hamas, I think the stuff going on in the Ukraine, I think a lot of that will ultimately get settled. I think the Middle East will reestablish it in what resembles a somewhat peaceful existence. The North Korea stuff, I absolutely believe that. I also think Trump will do infinitely better on the border. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I do.
What do you do with all the people that are here?
Well, this is the problem, right? The answer is, and Trump said this in I think the very first debate he did in 2015, because the media always tries to pin. The answer is very simple, and Trump gave it in 2015, because they always try to pin the Republicans on, well, you can't send all these people back. Why not? Trump said this in 2015, and it was one of the things that I
Do
was.
you want an Elian Gonzalez moment, though? Because that's what's going to happen.
Here's the answer to this. Either you have a country or you don't.
Facts. Yeah.
And this is what Trump said in 2015. And I was originally a Rand Paul guy in 2015. And when he said this, it's what moved me to Trump. Either you have a country or you don't. And the fact is, and you know this, Spanglish, people hide behind their kids.
Yeah.
Hey, boy, what a novel thing that people want to legally enter the country and break the law and break our laws. Some of them very violent people, by the way, are willing to hide behind their kids. What a novel concept. Either you have a country or you don't. And when you start saying, well, you can't do this because, the people are always going to do the thing that they can get away with. To me, it is ridiculous that we even have a conversation about people who break the law and get in this country are not sent back to their country of origin.
But the sad part is the other governors around the country, Arizona was one of these, where we came out and said, okay, when we do stops, if it's an illegal, we're going to now process you through wherever. And they said, oh, it's illegal to ask for somebody for their immigration status.
Right. No, and this is where I think
so he can close the border, but if governors decide to not play, what's the point?
Here and here's what I think the media has missed. I don't know if it's willfully or it's because they're an arm of the Democrat Party, but we're seeing it nationally and we're seeing it locally, where this idea that these people, these TPS people, temporary protected status people, who as though you can't be critical of them or you can't say they shouldn't be here. So like,
yeah, you can, Rob.
Well, thank you. So. And I'm going to turn this over to you because there's certain things that you can say, but I want to set this up.
Yeah.
So now people are being critical of Micah Beckwith because he's talked about in Logansport this is going on. And he's talking about how we have seen in places like in Ohio where these TPS people who the excuse is, no, they're here legally. You can't be critical of them. No, the reality is maybe some people shouldn't be here legally, illegally, or otherwise. We've talked about how I had a local superintendent of a very prominent school district who I will not name because it would ruin his reputation if it publicly came out that this person associated with me, and who does not agree with me, I'm sure, on most things political, was talking about this and said, and I've told this story many, many times, but I know we have all sorts of new listeners, where this person said, these people are coming to this country, air quote, legally, and then they're moving 4 or 5 families into a house, which means they're putting 10, 15 kids into our school system. And if they are overrunning these communities and resources, and this is a person who's a liberal person who's saying this has to be dealt with because services cannot be, local governments, state governments don't have the ability to provide services. So when Micah Beckwith talks about doing something about all these people who are technically legally in this country, but who are taking more resources than local governments can provide, the local media blew a gasket on that. The same way when Trump talks about it, the national media blew a gasket on that. I don't think the media, either willfully or otherwise, is understanding how sick of immigration policy in this country, both legal and illegal, the general populace is.
100%.
They see their country being. You take it because I'll say something that'll get me in trouble, but you say there's things you can say that I can't.
All right, it's time for me to go off the rails.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is a son of.
My mom sounds like Scarface.
Yeah, and they immigrated from Cuba.
Cuba,
yeah.
One of 12, first generation, was born at St. Vincent's.
Yeah.
And was the only Latino, literally in like the 81, 82, 83. It was just me.
Yeah.
I am 100% pro-immigration. Let me start out with that. Without immigration, I wouldn't be here. The problem is we say that these people are TSPs or they're legal or they're not illegal, right? But the big thing is they're not assimilating, right? So we have a culture. We have societal norms. If you go to Haiti, one of the poorest countries in the world, maybe they do eat animals that we don't because they don't have the resources we have. But when you bring those people here, they have to become part of our society. And without that, all of this falls apart, right? So my biggest problem with people that come here is don't come here and try to make this Mexico. Don't come here and try to make this Cuba. Don't come here and try to make this Venezuela or China or the Middle East. This is America, and there's a reason you came here. Everybody wants to complain about America. How many of them are leaving?
Yeah, it's a great
none.
point.
No, there's not been one white liberal boating to Cuba. Not one, dude. So shut up. You might hate it, but you're not going anywhere.
Oh, man, that's good stuff. All right, let's take a break. Spanglish in for Casey, 93 WIBC.
The victims of Hurricane Helene need our help. Go to disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. That's disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. From the Salvation Army and WIBC.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church, and man, if you're looking for something different, it could be a new church home or even a first church home, check out the place we call home, Life Church. You know, one of the things We love about Life Church, they have incredible online services. So if you can't make it in person, you don't miss anything. It's like being right there. Life Church has campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. And man, over the years, many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church. I know, we're one of them. See everything for yourself. Learn about all of it. LifeChurchIN.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-735-0911. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-735-0911. 800-735-0911. That's 800-735-0911.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
High taxes can erode returns quickly. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? Let Creative Planning help with a free year-end tax review. This personalized review will help you reduce your tax burden before the year ends. It's the perfect time to take proactive steps to optimize your tax situation. Go to creativeplanning.com/radio and request your free tax review. Act now. This offer is only good till Monday, October 28th at midnight. That's creativeplanning.com/radio.
Eligible Hoosiers, listen up. Election Day is November 5th. This is a reminder from the Indiana Secretary of State. Make a plan to get to the polls and vote. Indiana's elections are safe, secure, and transparent. Go to indianavoters.com to find polling locations, volunteer to work at the polls, and more information for Election Day. Make your vote count this Election Day, November 5th. This message is brought to you by your Indiana Secretary of State.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
Indiana has nearly 2,800 pig farmers and ranks 5th in the country in pork production. Hoosier pig farmers are raising some of the finest pork in the nation. October is National Pork Month. From family farms to innovative operations, Indiana's pig farmers are committed to quality and sustainability, all while providing your family pork that's packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals that are good for you. So the next time you're at the grocery store or your favorite restaurant, make pork your choice and celebrate Indiana pig farmers.
Truck drivers, are you tired of missing out on valuable time at home? At Midwest Logistics Systems, you can find a local dedicated job that gets you home every day. Plus, we offer predictable Monday through Friday schedules with occasional Saturdays. As an MLS driver, you'll haul 100% no-touch freight, earn performance and safety bonuses, and have access to full benefits. Don't wait. Upgrade your driving job today. Search jobs and apply now at MidwestLogisticsSystems.com. That's MidwestLogisticsSystems.com.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
I learned something amazing about the post office. 93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Our old pal Jerry Lopez. Indy Spanglish. Find him on Twitter at Indy Spanglish. In for Casey today. Kev is here. I learned something amazing about the post office, Jerry Lopez.
I don't know the last time I learned anything about the post office.
Did you know that their trucks did not have air conditioning?
That's true?
The mail trucks
did not know that.
Not have air conditioning?
No.
So there's apparently been an agreement reached. I didn't even know there were negotiations going on, but the Star has a story about how there's been a contract, at least kind of agreed to in principle. I think it's got to be ratified or voted on between the union of letter carriers and the post office on agreement of working conditions going forward. By the way, I'd like to give a shout out. The mailman, the official mailman on the Hammer and Nigel show is also my mailman, Justin, the greatest mailman of all time. You know, the organization of being a mailman. I know we have a ton of post office workers who listen to our program. I'm always amazed. I can barely keep my own bills organized. Like, you got to pay it this time. You got to take the thing in, whatever. Every single day. Like, my mailman is so good that he's got it down. If something has the wrong address on it, he'll know it's me. If it's going to the wrong house, he'll know it's me. If something should be going, if they label it wrong, he knows where it goes. And he knows it with, like, everybody on his route. It's just absolutely unbelievable. Some of the most underappreciated people in the entire world work for the post office. Look,
and some have to foot it.
Well, and the post office gets a lot of crap because of no fault of the workers. I think there's been some mismanagement, but the workers, the actual rank and file workers of the post office, are phenomenal people. And the idea, what does a letter even cost now? What is it, 60 some odd cents? Whatever. Think about it. You can send something to California. Yeah, it might take a week to get there, but the idea that for 66 cents I could send you something in California.
I used to mail things from Iraq.
Think
right? Mail me a care package across the world.
It's pretty amazing, right? Anyway, as part of this agreement, it says the agreement requires the Postal Service to acquire vehicles with air conditioning for its carriers. If the Postal Service wants to purchase vehicles without air conditioning, it must be negotiated with the union. So all of these years?
Dude, how does that happen? How do you have a union in the vehicle that you're in? That's a hot box.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And no AC?
Is that why it doesn't have doors?
I didn't even know they made vehicles without AC.
Is that why they don't have doors? Because it's so
hot? That's because they get in and out, in and out, in and out.
That's true. Yeah, you would have to open the door, and the door would eventually give way. That's absolutely amazing that all these years the post office vehicles. I have even more appreciation for the post office now. Yeah, I have even more appreciation for the post office because they did.
I'm going to say something. When I see the post, I'm going to. Quick question. I heard.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's totally wild. So anyway, congratulations to the letter carrier. Look, there is no free lunch. We're going to pay for this in terms of they're going to raise prices on
I'd rather pay for this than Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. I would totally. If you gave me a choice, said make sure that the mailman has the air conditioning or Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm taking the mailman having the air conditioning. You also wonder at what point. I'm sure there's been some studies done on this because clearly we live in a digital world. Most things, I'm sure official documents, whatever, don't need to be sent electronically. At what point does the post office, and I would hate this because I am still a person who all my bills are paid by the mail. I still do checks. We laugh about that all the time. I still go into the bank to pay my mortgage, all that sort of stuff. So this would be very bad for me. But at what point do they just say there's just not enough people that use this service anymore?
I don't think they can ever do that because we live. There's a lot of people that really depend on, the mail service. There's the people out here that don't have internet, right? We live on, I can't even fathom living somewhere where you don't have, we talk about fiber optics out there in the rural areas. Like, people are really dealing with this stuff.
Are you serious, Carl? Come in here. I didn't mean to cut you off. Carl, Tony's producer.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Can we, Carl? What?
I'm sorry to end the show this way, but I had to bring it to your attention,
Carl
Rob.
sends me a text. Really? What?
The men's urinal's overflowing.
Oh, gosh.
Number 2 in the men's urinal.
What? Wait.
It hasn't hit the ground yet, so nobody flushed that toilet.
Wait, you said number 2 in the...
Yeah, it's brown.
In the urinal?
Well, no, nobody went in it. It's coming up through the pipe.
Get me out of here.
It's getting muddy in there.
Get me out of here.
Wait. So there was one that didn't work. They took it out. So we only had one urinal there for a while. They put that one back in. Is that the one that, or is it the older one?
It's the older one, the one they didn't fix, so now the other one.
You gotta be kidding me.
I rushed down the hallway to tell you.
I love that Carl said, I will ruin the rest of Rob's day.
I mean, I've been here multiple times where the carpet's just wet. Man.
What, like, how does this keep happening?
And you think they're going to get rid of the post office? We can't even get to your... Come on, man.
How does that even happen? That it goes... I mean, clearly they're connected in some capacity, right?
It's like a backup in the... Yeah, it's going to start stinking here in a little bit. It's going to back up in the pump.
Have you alerted someone?
You.
Okay, Carl, maybe you can just go alert someone.
Okay. Somebody dropped the Arnold Palmer in the in the urinal.
I said this. I told our boss, Matt Hiblin, today, I said, if every worker here was as good as Carl, we wouldn't have jobs because Carl puts us all to shame. You are the best, Carl. Thank you. All right, well, it's the Kendall and Casey show, and I'm Rob, and Jerry's here. And real quick, I did want to say this. So apparently there was some movie that came out about the Menendez brothers, or was it a TV series?
Netflix series.
It was a Netflix series. And one of the guys, Cooper Koch is, I think, his name, who plays Eric Menendez. Wait, I thought it was 5650.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
Do I have a minute?
Yeah, you're
okay,
good,
very good.
you're
All right. Apparently, this guy, Cooper Koch, you ever heard of him? Do you know this guy? No. He plays Eric Menendez in the movie, and he actually went to meet him in prison.
That's weird.
It is weird, right?
I heard the Menendez brothers are trying to sue Netflix for all the incestual stuff they showed.
So although I guess if you're playing a role, you would, like the guy who's playing Bruce Springsteen in that biopic that's coming out, the Deliver Me.
But you meet him before you play the role, not afterwards. Now it's like he's almost in love with the...
Was it before or after? I don't know. Anyway, is it weird? Because he is a serial killer.
I think it's weird.
Or not a serial killer. Is it a mass murder?
I think two.
Is two mass?
He killed his parents.
He did kill his parents. He shot his parents.
Yeah.
He's a murderer.
Yeah.
He's in prison for murder. He definitely did it. There's no doubt he did it.
Yeah.
The defense was that we didn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Delphi guy, right? Where there's some dispute.
Yeah.
By the way, we got to figure out when Donnie Burgess is actually in the courthouse, because I need to have him on to find out what's going on with Delphi, and I feel like he's working when. Anyway.
Hey, you know what the most important thing happened this week is, Rob?
What's that?
The Yankees in the World Series, baby!
And I was just getting ready to say something nice about you. Indy Spanglish, Jerry Lopez. Find him on Twitter at Indy Spanglish. Thank you, my friend.
Have a good one.
Kev, great job as always. Thank you to you, the listeners. You're the most important part of the equation. Stick around. Tony Katz coming up next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Nothing stays the same.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up, take Indiana to the world and bring the world back to Indiana.
We are expecting tomorrow the winds to increase a little bit.
It was a big part of her resume.
Paying interest on the national debt.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
From Indianapolis to Europe, a mostly sunny sky, 60 degrees in downtown Indy. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. If you've been looking for a chance to go to Ireland, then you might like the announcement this morning from the Indianapolis International Airport. Here's Ryan Hedrick.
The last nonstop flight to Europe from Indianapolis ended during the COVID-19 pandemic, but starting next May, you can fly nonstop from Indy to Dublin on Aer Lingus. Here's Governor Eric Holcomb.
Since day one, our focus has been clear to take Indiana to the world and bring the world back to Indiana. And this is just yet another big step forward.
This is more about economics than convenience, says Mario Rodriguez, Executive Director of the Indianapolis Airport Authority.
We export to Ireland over $750 million a year to state, but we import $20.8 billion, which is 1/4 of all the exports of Ireland comes directly to this state.
The first flight from Indy to Dublin happens on May 3rd, just 3 weeks before the Indianapolis 500. Reporting from the Indianapolis Airport, Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Defense attorneys for Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen are trying to prohibit testimony about the contents of a video recovered from Libby German's phone on the day both she and Abby Williams were killed in 2017. The defense says interpreting words and sounds is speculative and that the enhancements were investigative tools, and Allen says he's innocent. The retrial of an Indianapolis man accused of killing 5 people, including a pregnant woman, when he was 17 years old, begins today. A Marion County judge declared a mistrial in the case of Raymond Childs III on July 24th because a key witness addressed Childs from the stand, asking at one point, "Why'd you do it, Raymond?" Childs faces 6 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder for the mass shooting on January 24th of 2021. He is 20 years old now. You're being told not to burn anything outside. Part of the reason is because it'll be both windy and dry all week long in Indiana.
We are expecting tomorrow the winds to increase a little bit more, leading to just a little higher threat of wildfire spread in that case.
Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says the winds could get up to 25 miles an hour at times, and there are several counties in Indiana that are under burn bans. A problem at the casino and not over the slot machines. That story and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Donald Trump worked the fryer and the left can't figure out how to deal with something so banal. That's right, banal. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Well, WIBC News Time coming up on 12:03, and what Tony's referring to there is former President Trump putting on an apron and handing out orders to people at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania on Sunday. He also said he heard about Vice President Kamala Harris saying she worked at a McDonald's when she was in college, which he says isn't true.
And I think it's inappropriate when somebody puts down all over the place that she worked at McDonald's. It was a big part of her resume that she worked at McDonald's, how tough a job it was.
After spending about 15 minutes handing out fries to drivers, Trump said he's now worked at a McDonald's longer than Harris ever has. As for what Harris is up to,
the vice president and her team think they can win over persuadable battleground state voters by having 3 moderated conversations today in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And the moderator is going to be Liz Cheney, the conservative who says she doesn't really consider herself to be part of Donald Trump's Republican Party.
That's Fox's Peter Ducey reporting. Indiana will have a new senator come 2025. Kurt Darling reports on why a Hoosier member of Congress is ready to switch chambers.
Jim Banks has represented northeastern Indiana for 8 years. He hopes to have a better platform to shore up government spending if elected to the Senate.
We spend more on paying interest on the national debt today than we do on the entire budget of the Pentagon.
On All Indiana Politics, he also says he supports mass deportations of people who are in the country illegally. Finally, he says he's one of the most pro-life people in Washington, but says Indiana's state law banning abortion is sufficient. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And Election Day is November 5th. A man believed to have been threatening hotel guests with a knife was shot and killed by police Saturday. Donnie Burgess reports.
Lawrenceburg police showed up to the Hollywood Casino Hotel around 1 o'clock Saturday morning. A man was apparently threatening someone with a knife and chasing them around the 4th floor. Police arrived just in time to hear gunshots. They found the suspect on the 4th floor, ordered him to drop the gun, and that's when police say he started shooting, which caused them to fire back, killing him. The victim from earlier was slightly hurt. Indiana State Police have the investigation now. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And prior to that, a state trooper was hit on eastbound 465 early Saturday morning. Sasha Nixon with that story.
First Sergeant Todd Harless was outside at the site of an earlier crash when his marked car was hit near mile marker 1.5. It had apparently been in the left lane in order to protect the crash scene. Officers believe the collision then caused Harless's own car to hit him. Harless was later released from the hospital and is resting at home. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Hoosier football team routed Nebraska on Saturday, 56-7.
You know, we're the same guys that we were this morning when we woke up, right? We just kind of overcame another challenge.
That's Hoosier head coach Kurt Cignetti after the win. They're 7-0. They moved up to 13th in both the AP and coaches polls. Notre Dame ranked 12th in the AP poll and 11th in the coaches poll. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
Roads of America. It's Tony Katz Today.
For those of you who did not get to see it, I offered, because, you know, I also own McDonald's restaurants. I know that you perfected your skills behind the counter a day or so ago, and it was my honor to present President Trump with the French fry certification pin. So, thank you so much.
This McDonald's visit is just going to live in infamy. And nothing is crazier than the left still talking about it. Making it a big deal out of what? A photo op, which it clearly was. And everyone's like, yeah, it's a photo op. And the left is like, how dare he? And right now he's in North Carolina. That's where President Trump is at the moment. Speaking on the ground in the midst of the devastation that still isn't cleaned up. We're talking about months and years from an area being back on its feet. The damage from Hurricane Helene has been massive, and the response was slow. That's all. These are hard areas to get to in western North Carolina. You've got this mountainous terrain. And still the response was slow, even with that. And the Biden administration that was all Johnny on the spot for Hurricane Milton, they've got the command center and they're making phone calls and they're checking in on people. No one goes back to check on the people of North Carolina. No one goes back to care. Trump is in North Carolina right now.
Affected by Hurricane Helene, were badly affected, and nothing can really really make amends for what happened, especially when it came to the death. The property you're going to end up having bigger and better and nicer and everything, but the death was horrendous. And to date, we raised $8 million, of which $7 million has been distributed to the various charities that are helping you. And the rest is going to go. And if you people have some recommendations, I'd like to have them. We helped Franklin Graham. He's done such a great job. and some of the others that have done a great job. And if you have recommendations, I'd like to have them, because we have more coming and we have more already in the till. So we raised $8 million, which is great. That's contributions from a lot of great people. Okay, but give us those recommendations if you would.
Tony Katz today. I forget if I say hello sometimes. I swear to you, I'm into it. We'll get into the whole French fry thing. Campaigning is the name of the game. Don't forget where you're at. Take a look at the data, take a look at the numbers, and I'm more than happy to do it. There's an interesting story over there, Fox News, talking about a poll showing that Democrats are losing ground amongst Latino and black voters. However, you have got data that shows that Harris is gaining amongst college white women. We discussed this the other day. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. This is the direction that things are heading. How does it play out? Take a look at the national USA Today Suffolk University poll. Harris 45, Trump 44. And you're like, oh, Harris is still ahead? In August, that poll was Harris 48, Trump 43. It proves something, by the way, something that we've said from the beginning. Trump's support has a ceiling. It also has a floor, and it's basically the same number. It's Harris who can go far up or far down. And this is proving my point. Proving the point. Trump's got a floor of support and seemingly a ceiling of support. Trump ends up with getting 50% of the vote